Okay, so here we go. Yeah, I guess we have quite a few people who have joined already. So, namaste and happy Wildlife Week first to you all. And I welcome
Happy
you to the
Wildlife Week.
YPS Wildlife Week presentation. And before we start with anything, I would like to, request everybody to keep their mics muted and also their videos switched off for now. Later on, when we go in for the question answer sessions, maybe you can unmute yourself and then come on the video also. And Mr. Jitender, I would like to know if you want to have the questions in between or at the end of the presentations. What would you
Ma'am,
prefer?
I would be more than happy if people can ask me question then and there itself, because by the end
Okay.
of the presentation, either they would not be keen, or so like they would feel okay, now I'm not excited enough to ask that question. So I think the minute the question pops up, I would be more than happy to answer it briefly. But if it
They
requires,
can write
but
it in
once I like,
chat box. They write it
So
in
what
chat
I
box.
would request everybody to do is please write your question in the chat, and then Mr. Jitender can of course stop in the middle and then address your question. And if the question is general and can be taken up in the end, we'll do so. But if it is pertaining to that particular slide, it will be taken up right then. So that is one information. And then before we go ahead with this presentation, I would like to give a little info about the upcoming presentations we have lined up for this Wildlife Week. Now, we have a line of excellent photographers who will share their experiences along with their pictures. So, this is the first one that we have lined up for you today. So, yesterday, since it was Vijayadashmi, we did not start yesterday, but we are starting today with the presentations. And then let me just give you a brief about the upcoming ones. So today we have the waiting game, patience, persistence, and precision in tiger photography by Mr. Jitender Govindani, who is already connected now. Tomorrow at the same time, that is at 5:30 Google Meet, we will be having a presentation, Nature in Close-Up by H. Satish, who is also here. And then the day after that, that is on Sunday, 5th October, we have arranged a macro walk at Kalkare Forest, which will be shared with our members. And then, we'll have a small group going on a macro photography walk for the in celebration of the Wildlife Week. And then next on Monday, it's going to be a Google Meet again at 5:30 in the evening. Witness to the Wild, Encounters Across Habitats by Mr. Kedar Bide. And then on the 7th October at 5:30 p.m. again, we'll have a Google Meet, My Wild Quest for Creative Satisfaction by Mr. Sangram Govardhane. And October, we will be having a Google Meet called Birds by Mr. Praveen P. Mohandas. And then it doesn't end there. Then we continue with our YPS International Salon exhibition of awarded pictures and the awards ceremony at Chitrakala Parishad on 11th, that is Saturday, 11th October. And the award ceremony will be on Sunday, 12th October, 11 a.m. onwards. So we request you all to come and see the beautiful pictures on display, all the award-winning pictures. And of course, we'll also have the accepted pictures on digital slideshow. And this is not all. This whole month is packed with programs. On 25th and 26th October, we will be having a workshop on montage photography, that is layering in Photoshop, which will be mentored by Mr. Adit Agarwala, immediate past president of Federation of Indian Photography. For that, we'll be having the registration, which will be broadcast soon. So if you are keen about that, register, because there's going to be a very small number of slots. That's about 10 or 12 slots. That's about it. So this is the program for the whole month. So now I would like to just do a small, very brief introduction about today's program and today's presenter. So today's program, the presentation is called The Waiting Game: Patience, Persistence, and Precision in Tiger Photography. I'm sure we are going to hear a lot about what is required to do this kind of photography, especially the patience part of it. Yes, a lot of it is required. And here about a short brief of Professor Dr. Jitender Govindani. So Professor Dr. Jitender Govindani holds a PhD in management and currently is the Dean of Academics and a professor teaching courses in strategy and marketing. Over the last 30 years, he has taught and coached over 6,500 students. A professor who received the ACBSP Teaching Excellence Award in the USA. Congratulations, Dr. Jitendra.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
So, though he is a professor by work, but he is a wildlife photographer at heart. With over a decade of experience in the field, he likes to think of camera as a kaleidoscope through which he may view and record fleeting moments of nature that might otherwise be lost forever. He has held countless exhibitions of his wildlife photography, and every penny he has made has gone towards funding scholarships for disadvantaged. This is something very noble in thought. It's not only this thing, he's not only doing something for the ecosystem, but he's also helping the underprivileged. So he takes great pride in the fact that he has helped make 9 coffee table books for various forest departments. Money from the book sales was used to support the families of foresters serving on the ground. So this kind of philanthropy, this kind of work gives you so much more satisfaction. As it is, wildlife photography itself is so satisfying, but then he is also put in so much more. No wonder he enjoys himself thoroughly. So he has written 1 coffee table book about the Bandhavgarh and Satpura tiger reserves in Madhya Pradesh, 1 about the Pench Tiger Reserve in Maharashtra, 1 for Pilbit Tiger Reserve, Uttar Pradesh, 2 for the Jim Corbett in Uttarakhand, and 2 for the Kanha Tiger Reserves in Madhya Pradesh. Currently, he is working on the 10th coffee table book, and the 3rd coffee table book of Corbett is in progress. We wish him great success in all his endeavors. And now I hand over the screen to Dr. Jitender Govindani.
Thank you so very much, ma'am. So, it's really an honor to be with the YPS group, such an elite group, and my colleague, my partner in crime, Mr. Uday Igre, a wonderful friend of mine. He's there currently in this group. And when he told me that you have to speak in this group, I said, boss, this group is too big, and it consists of elite members and people who are extremely knowledgeable. He said, he insisted that I speak. I had the privilege of working along with Mr. Uday Igre during the Pench Coffee Table book, and Mr. Uday Igre's work on macro made the book stand out. So thank you so much, Uday bhai. Thank you for being an important member of my team, and we work together. And he has helped me to bring out the Pench book, and it is doing wonders. And the beauty of working for coffee table books like Pench, when we work for Pench book, trust me, making a book for Corbett was much more easier than making a book for Pench. Because when we're doing the book for Corbett, when we asked for people to contribute the images, we were spoiled for choice. We got so many images. We got thousands of images. Like, for example, when we are doing the first coffee table book for Corbett, I got more than 8,000 plus images for Corbett. And the number of images that we were going to include, people's images were only about 160 odd images. And we got 8,000 images. Vice versa, when we were doing Page Coffee Table book and we asked for images, we got a total of 350 images only. 350 compared to 8,000 for Corbett. So we had to start from zero, getting a tiger in Page, getting a, not only, see, for a coffee table book, the image that is required is totally different from the images that are required for a Facebook post. So for a Facebook post, probably you might compromise, you might post a easy image, but for a coffee table book, it has to be a image that you would print it in a large size, put it on the wall, or when you put it in an exhibition, people would love to buy. It should be a collector's item image. Every image that goes in a coffee table book is a collector's item image. So that requires a lot of hard work, patience, and trust me, when we talk about patience, it's a fallacy, and especially in photography, and I'm taking liberty to say this, it's a mistaken fallacy. That's like people believe in photography it's a camera that teaches you patience. But let me tell you, in tiger photography, it is not the camera that teaches you patience, it's the tiger. Tiger teaches you patience. While working for Bandhavgarh Coffee Table Book, I was in the jungle. The entire jungle was mine. I had access to every inch of the park. I could go anywhere. And since I was working for the department, you have this access to, because I'm doing official work. And I've spent 11 full days. I would go in the morning at 5 a.m. and I would be back at 7 p.m. 11 full days, I did not see a tiger's tail. 11 full days in the jungle, I did not see a tiger's tail. So many times, the tiger tests your patience, persistence, and your precision. So, like, are you ready? So, like, when the moment comes, and in a fraction of a second, do you have your camera ready, and can you make that shot? So, what I will be talking today is mostly on this. I would talk about the waiting game, patience, persistence, and precision required in tiger photography. Now, though I'm doing photography for the last, I think now I would say about 14, 15 years. So like, but I would call myself so like a serious photographer, because that's a time when since 12 years I'm using a DSLR. Otherwise, the first 2 years it was point and shoot. The first tiger that I saw in the wild, I did not even have the camera in hand. So it's mostly like, so like, uh, the seriousness came in, so like when I bought my first DSLR camera with a small lens, and also like I would call myself as a serious photographer from that point of time. So I'm going to share my experience of 12 long years, having worked in various jungles, especially for working with the forest department. I've seen both the sides. I've been on two sides of the table. So I'll share those stories also with you. And whatever I'm going to share is the practical, what I've experienced, what I've seen in the field, what are the challenges that I went through, what are the lessons, and very importantly, please, one statutory warning that I'm going to tell is, I'm no photography expert. Let me make it very, very clear. I was learning 12 years ago, and I'm still learning. I strongly believe in one mantra: the day you stop learning, you start dying. And I believe whether or not you're ready, life teaches you every day. So it depends on how open are you to learning, and I'm open to learning every possible days. So before I start anything, I'm a very, very fond of a particular phrase that was used by Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs very popularly said, "Stay hungry, stay foolish." In fact, is in one of his lectures at Stanford University, in the convocation address, he popularly used those words: "Stay hungry, stay foolish," and that words are very important. I think in every field, whether it is whatever you do, especially in your life, in work, in professional life, and even in photography for that matter, I think stay hungry for knowledge, be open to learning, and people might call you foolish that you're experimenting, you're asking silly questions. Please do not hesitate to ask questions. And how much of a silly you might sound, so like, uh, you know that there is a reason behind it. Calm down your anxiety by asking questions. And again, I would say the same thing in the group also. If you have a question, please feel free to ask me. I'll try to answer it to the best of my ability, and I will try to do as much of justice as I can to your questions. Now, before I go in further, I would ask you a straightforward question. Have you ever waited long, either for a train or for a job or for a reply to someone special in your life, a yes or a no answer? Have you waited long enough? And the next question is, have you waited so long enough without knowing what the answer would be? Have you ever gone through that? Right? I've gone through many a times. Right? Now, please understand, it requires a lot of, it's a waiting game. You require a lot of patience. You need to hold your nerve. You are anxious. You know, you don't know whether the answer would be an affirmative or negative, but you try to be optimistic. You hold your ground. And I think in photography, especially in tiger photography, I strongly believe that this is one of the most, and I'm taking the liberty and saying this, and I'm with no disrespect to any other genre, clicking tigers is one of the most difficult thing. Why? For two reasons. One, it's an expensive thing. Second one is, tigers know how much ever you might have spent your life chasing tigers, but you can never ever call yourself as a subject matter expert. Especially if someone can say that, no, I'm such a big expert that I can track a tiger. I know which tiger will come out at what point of time. Trust me, either they're fooling you or they're lying. Simple funda. Nobody can predict what the next movement of tiger. But only thing is that we can do a calculated guess. And here I'm going to talk about how we can do calculated guesses and all. But very importantly, especially in tiger photography, if somebody cannot have patience, somebody cannot wait for the entire day, somebody cannot have a trip without not even getting a single good picture. Uh, Mr. Hegde would be knowing it. I've, uh, I'm working on my 10th coffee table book of Corbett. I was there in Corbett this time 13 days. In 13 days, I just got only one decent picture of the tiger. In 13 days of my stay at Corbett, because I was working for the department and all, I just got one beautiful image, decent. I would say not even so like worth coffee table book, but I just got one decent image. Now, how many of us would be ready to spend that kind of time? 13 days. It's time. Time is equal to money. Are we ready to do that? Right? But only thing what I'm going to talk about is, patience is a virtue which all of us should and must work on if we really want to make it good in tiger photography. I would always go ahead and say, if you lack patience and if you want things easy, and if you want your memory card to be full, you want to make every minute or every hour counting, then select Masai Mara is the right bet. Why? Because you get some subject or the other, your camera doesn't stop. So, but in tiger photography, of course, there would be days wherein you will not get to see a tiger. So you need to have patience. So having said that, let me proceed with my presentation. Now, what I'm going to talk about is patience and persistence. I'm going to talk about how to master the fieldcraft, that is, how to understand animal signals, interpret the language of the forest, understand tiger behavior. Very importantly, tiger behavior. The behavior of the tiger, when I'm talking about, I'm particularly talking about how the male tiger's behavior and approach to photography for clicking a male tiger is how is it different, and the patterns, how is it different from the female tiger. And I would share about my real life experiences, some behind the scenes BTS. So I'll share with you that as well, and probably some stories, some narratives, some anecdotes I'll be sharing with you. Probably those would be the takeaways. And again, I repeat, I'm no subject matter expert. I'm just sharing my life experiences. Take it what you like, and ignore some things that you do not feel connected to. I would appreciate if you can do that. All right. So let me proceed. Now, I've spent more than a decade with the forest department. I've if you remember, so like I've been working with uh, various forest department, be it Kana, be it Bandhavgarh, be it Satpura in Madhya Pradesh, and then Pench in Maharashtra, then Pilibhit in Uttar Pradesh and all. I've worked with various forest departments. Trust me, there's a lot of people so like who talk about no, department is not doing enough and all. That's for some other day, that discussion. But so like I've seen both the sides of the story. I see what goes on in conservation. I also see what photographers in what way they can contribute towards conservation. So I've seen select forest departments are always welcome to ideas or select pictures. In fact, for a lot of tiger identification, the forest department depends on we, the tourist, their pictures and all. When coffee table books are made, trust me, 90% of the pictures come from the work of the tourist. So it's not that the department is averse to or I would say negative to tourists. They're always, I would say, those are the two sides of the coin, and they have to be together. And one thing that I've understood by working along with forest department is it's very challenging role that they're into. So we as tourists, we as photographers have to lend a helping hand to the forest department. So I'll add more to it. And so like I also would say so like photography is both art and science. Art because there are four people in Gypsy. Now, four of you would have clicked the same tiger, but the output that each one of you generate depends on so like your creative self. So again, the photography is both art and science. Science because it is based on some principles. Whether we talk about ISO, some person might for an action shot they might use panning, somebody might use slow shutter, somebody might use fast shutter. So depends. So it's about your pre-visualization and how you convert the simple picture into art form. So that's the reason why we'll talk about the art and science of photography. We'll discuss some examples too. These are the work that I've done. In fact, there is a tiger identification book also that's missing there. So a total of 9 books should have been there. So Kana, both the books had the same cover. Unfortunately, they had the same cover. And coffee table, there is another tiger identification book wherein select how to study tiger based on sprite patterns and all. We had categorized the tigers of Kana into the codings and all we had done. So that's it. And this was title that one of the newspaper had given to me because of my work on publishing various coffee table books. That the headline of that article read it as "Coffee Table Bookman of India." So this particular title has stayed with me. My friends also call me in that way, and I'm very happy that so like I'm able to contribute in some way or the other towards coffee table book. Most of the coffee table book were available on Amazon. I've not checked it last, but if they're not available on Amazon, please, whenever you are walking to any of these jungles, whether it's Corbett, Kana, Satpura, Pinch, Bandhavgarh, these books I'm sure would be available at this souvenir shop. Every park has a souvenir shop at the gate. So please feel free to walk into the souvenir shop and pick up this particular book. Trust me, this book has some collector's item images and work of more than about like Corbett book has work of more than 98 photographers over the period of 12 years from the time digital camera took a serious shape. Work of 98 photographers of 12 long years. So you'll have some amazing mind-blowing images. So anybody who would like to invest, I would say this is the best piece of memorabilia that you can look into. All right. So firstly, let's go through a visual journey into the world of stripes, and I'll just showcase some of my images and just see if you would like to ask me any questions related to any of those images that I'm showcasing right now. So let's have a sneak peek into my world of tigers. This is by far, if ever I make a tattoo of a tiger or a tigress, this would be it. It's the royal gaze of Baras. The tiger's name was Baras, and she was christened because of this particular on her from my side it is right. So from a tiger side it would be a left eye. You could see 12 on her eyebrow. You could see 12 written on her eyebrow, and that's how most of the tigers are given name because of some identification marks on their body, whether it is the cheek, whether the forehead. There is a star mark. So the very famous tigress of Ranthambore, Machli, she got the name Machli because she had a fish mark on her cheek. So the strike pattern sometimes have some symbols and all. There was an arrowhead, right? And Baras, because of the number 12. 12 in Hindi means Bara, and that's how she got the name Baras. And she was the undisputed queen of Pench, Maharashtra. Unfortunately, she died about few years ago. No, not few years. My apologies. My apologies. It's about 4 months ago. In monsoon, she died. Her body was found nearby to a lake. A mysterious circumstance, but like territorial fights keep happening. So there is a saying. They say again, it's not verified, but they say she fight. She lost a fight with her own daughter, and during the fight she received some injuries, and that was the reason for her death. One of the most beautiful tigers that I've ever seen in the wild. And she was such a friendly tigress, such a good tigress that's like you could take. I'm sorry, I'm not recommending anyone, but so like you could take liberty with her that you can get close to her, and she I've never seen her either growling or so like charging at vehicles and all. She was the most friendliest tiger that you could ever see. Don't take the liberty with other tigers. He was friendly, but I'm sure others are not. So maintain safe distance from a tiger. And especially, I always believe it is not the people with good cameras and big cameras that are uh, anti-tourism and all. But so like a lot of times, I keep telling the department. In fact, tourists or the people with mobiles are the more dangerous. Why? Because they want to have a portrait with a tiger, and good photographers carry big lenses, and they want to have many pictures of the tiger, so they maintain a safe distance. So one thing that I would appreciate is uh, be greedy when it comes to tiger photography. Give the tiger the space, and I'm sure it would walk with you for a long time. So don't get in the rush of blood. And I know when you see a tiger, the adrenaline rush would be there. You would like to get the best picture. Give it time, let it relax, and I'm sure, and I'm talking with my own experience, I've sometimes spent four hours with one tiger at a time. So give tiger the space and give tiger that comfort zone. Let it relax, and I'm sure the tiger would give you some mind blowing images. And this is one image that would stay very close to me. And she gave me enough time for me to bend totally low. My driver was holding me by my belt, and I went low and clicked this picture, so you could see that eye level shot. This is all again a similar image. It's one of the most handsome male of Philippines. They are called as Terai tigers, tigers of Terai, Dudwa, Corbett, and Pilibit. This is called a Terai belt. And the male tigers, usually the male tigers are heavily built. The male tigers are heavily built. And trust me, when I say this, you can see the color of the coat, and it is the same color. And the tigers of the Terai belt have that orangish coat, and that's how you can make a difference, especially when you click a tiger. The tigers of Tadoba and central India would be more of pale yellow, especially in summers they would turn into pale yellow. And the tigers of Terai and Corbett, Terai belt, Dudwa, Corbett, and Pilibhit would be orangish. But in winter, the coat is so thick and the fur is so big that like they would look like reddish orangish. So that's how you can identify based on the coat also the tiger comes from which belt. This is the summer tiger, the very famous tiger of again Pilibhit. You just see the size of the tigers, like they're so bulky. And this is sub-adult, and he did not even reach adulthood. He is a young tigress of 3.5 year old. Sorry, young tiger of 3 year old. His name is Rocket, and and this is where I would always say, so like especially try to make an image where you are the only one, and the road behind the depth of the field is visible. So like aim for this depth of field wherein so like the empty spaces at the leading lines, what we call in photography. That's very important. Especially try to avoid any subject by any distraction, whether it is a tree trunk or especially I avoid clicking pictures where there is a gypsy behind and all. I try to avoid it. At least I try to make, instead of shooting a tiger continuously, I would position my vehicle in such a manner that at least I get that one shot. Instead of clicking 100 shots where there is gypsy behind, I would wait for that one shot where I'll position my vehicle in such a manner that's like in that at least one shot I get the tiger, and nothing else behind it. So at least, when I know many times you might not have the flexibility and there are vehicles behind just chasing the tiger's tail. Sometimes those factors are beyond our control, but I would suggest that you can pay attention to that and select. You can at least make that one image. Don't go on. Since your camera can click 20 frames per second and you have one terabyte memory card in your camera, don't do that. So like in fact, I've made a tiger walk almost about 35 minutes head on. 35 minutes is very, trust me, there are people who spend 5 minutes with the tiger and they have more than about 1500 images. And when I made the tiger walk for 35 minutes, I had just 370 shots. 35 minutes, 370 shots. I'm sure it's like there are some pros who even might only click 20 or 30 decent shots. Probably I'm yet to reach there, but so like I would say never use the burst mode. I especially when the tiger is walking and all, I would always go with the middle speed, and I've never gone with that kind of thing. I never have gone with that. I personally would not recommend. Again, your own choice, but say like try to click where you and the subject, and there is no third element, because those are distractions. So avoid distractions in your images. This is again a image. You can see the sudden turn and gaze. This is where this tigress was shocked because she had a fierce encounter. She is Baras's daughter, and she had a fierce encounter with her mom, and her mom had beaten her black and blue. It was more like a territorial fight. It was more like the two tigers were trying to size up. Of course, I knew this tigress was angry because she had just been beaten down, and she was shown a place. So I knew she would be angry, and I knew the minute our vehicle would come, she would give us a head turn and a stare. I was prepared. I anticipated, and so like I was ready for that particular shot. Trust me, this was one shot. This tigress was sitting in front of us for almost 20 minutes, but this was only the one shot that she turned her head and looked at us, and rest of the time she was staring at her mom, who was on the other side. Right. So what I'm saying is, wait for the moment. Be ready. You know your vehicle will come. The minute your vehicle will come, the tiger would turn. So may ensure that's like anticipate. Very important. The early bird gets a worm. So if you know the tiger behavior, if you pre-plan, now the head will turn, and wait for that moment, and you get the picture. So anticipation is a key over here in tiger photography. Very important. Anticipation is the key. Understanding tiger behavior is the key. Now, this is again a very famous handsome male of Pilibhit. It's called as S3. This tiger is called as S3. As you can see, he's a hunk. He's a gladiator. Now, this tiger was walking in front of us. It was, you would have heard of head on. We were tail on. This tiger was happily walking winter morning all alone on the road, and we were just following it up for the last 2 kilometers. And I did not click one picture, but I was holding my camera. I knew that some point of time it would turn. Unfortunately, it did not turn. It went on walking, but I knew at some point of time it would get inside. It would get inside. And when he saw there is a vehicle coming from the opposite direction, and when he saw that vehicle coming from the opposite direction, he entered. And I knew that for a second, when our vehicle would stop, there would be a sound that the vehicle would make when it stops. I knew that the time that it would do a head turn. Now, trust me, this image looks good, but it's like my camera shot the image while the vehicle was still moving. I have composed this image like this, but in fact, the top is as it is, but bottom I've cropped at least 30%. So it was more like while the vehicle was stopping, that's the only shot I could make, and I couldn't compose it well. Why? Because the vehicle was still moving and holding a 400 mm. So like, and the vehicle is, while the vehicle is in motion. Again, it was not easy, but happy that at least I could make at least one image. Yes, cropping was done, but so like at least the one image which was worthy of the follow. All right, this is thing. So again, one thing that I would always suggest to you is practice. especially if you're doing tiger photography, you might not have the privilege all the time to get use beanbag or a tripod or a monopod. I know there are people who use tripods and monopods also, but many times in tiger photography, trust me, tigers go and sit at a place wherein it's like most of the time you'll have to do handled. And this is one suggestion that I give to people. Try to practice holding your lens steady, heavy lens, whatever lens you are holding. Try to see if you can hold it for 2 minutes without letting your hands move. Try to practice. Try to build your arm strength. I'm not saying, it's not recommending you to become Arnold Schwarzenegger or Rambo there, but like practice something. Why? Because many times like your hands would pain. I know. It's like there is a saying which says wildlife photography is about trembling knees and I would say the shaking legs and all. So please do not hesitate. Try to practice, especially when you try to avoid using that, because usually I've seen after your hand starts paining, when you're holding your camera for long, your hands pain. The minute you put your camera down to rest your arm, because this starts paining and this part pains more, right? So the minute you put your lens down, that's the time when action happens. It's a Murphy law. What has to go wrong will surely go wrong. You expect that the tiger should not give a pose the minute you put it down, and that's the time the real pose comes. So again, this is where I would request that, like, especially if you're doing tiger photography, improve your. Now this is one picture that my driver was telling. I had a friend from Nagpur. He said, so like, I want to click this tigers. Now this is a famous tigress again from Pilibhit. She is known for a short temper, and this tigress is so good, so adorable when she walks on the road. But the minute someone stops at her face, she gets petrified. I don't know why, but it's more like that's an Achilles heel. You cannot stop the vehicle at her face. And she was lying 10 feet below on a sand bed, that water sand bed. It was more like what we say, water bed, which was cooling her in summer. We stopped. We our driver stopped 10 feet away. Now this guy, my good friend from Nagpur, said, "नहीं मुझे tiger के नजदीक लेने का है." This driver told, and this is where, so like, you have to respect your driver's instinct. Why? Because they see this particular tiger. You come once in a while, they see the tiger again and again. They are more I would say, knowledgeable about the tiger's behavior, how the tigers act, what is the comfort zone, what is not their comfort zone, and all. So trust on the driver and guide's instinct. So don't think that's like, I've seen many tigers and all. This is what my friend said. हमने बहुत tiger देखा है, and so like, you might not have heard that many tigers. We are from Nagpur. We have seen hundreds of tigers and all. He insisted. Now he was not listening. So driver looked at me. I said, "Okay, boss." And I told him I knew this tigress would charge. So I was ready. Usually when we go to the jungle, we remove the middle seat, and what I do is that I always take the lower levels. Why? Because I want to get at the eye level. I told my driver to take it back. He said, "Sir, but charge karegi." I said, "Don't stop the vehicle. The minute you hear any word from my mouth, so like, just rush." My friend who was insisting that we go there, he stood on the seat. I went low. I sat on the bed, the ground, the floor of that gypsy. I held the camera. I knew this tigers would not give a chance. And trust me, the minute we went back, the first image that I have is the tigers looking at us. Second picture that I got is this. The tigers did not give me a chance to click the third picture. The tigers, trust me, did not give a chance to click the third picture. And the minute I said Bagar, and the vehicle ran front, my friend who was standing on the top of the rear seat fell right in the vehicle. And trust me when I'm saying this, our vehicle went and the tigress was up in a flash. So very important lesson. Never take chances with the tiger. The tiger might look very innocent while it is walking on the road, and it might look docile, it might look very friendly, it might look like a tourist friendly tiger. But my particular request to you is never test. And I've seen in many jungles where people get close to the tiger only to be charged. So never take chances. And I'm telling you, the way the tigers jumped, our vehicle went and the tigers was up 10 feet up on the main road, on the safari track, in a flash. Trust me, it did not even take a second to jump 10 feet. So tigers are fast, and tigers attack happen in a blink. So never take chances with tigers. And trust me when I'm saying this, one of my friend who was insisting that I take my vehicle back was the one who did not get the picture, because his angle, the way he was standing and all, and he was trying to click the picture while the vehicle is moving. And this is where, when you go down, when you're ready, when you see, I was sitting there in the gypsy on the floor, my hand was resting, and I was ready. I could make the image. So I knew this kind of thing would happen. And again I'm saying, I got the picture, but so, like, avoid taking chances. I never would have taken the chance. My friend insisted, forced. He was not ready to move the gypsy, and he was not listening. He wanted to be a hero. So I personally would not recommend you to do that. Never take chance with the tiger, please, ever. And this is a picture of, again, a young handsome male, uh, from this. Now again, here there are some elements that you need to look into. Now this is where, so, like, when you do tiger photography, it's don't pick up a big lens and try to shoot the portraits and the close-ups. Especially we as wildlifers, so, like, either like, for example, when I go to jungle, I carry my Nikon Z9 with 400 mm f2.8, and I also carry my Z8 along with 7200. Now very often we get so tempted to our favorite lens, like we want to take a portrait shot. And now what I would suggest is, like, sometimes imagine the image. Now, for example, this is where I said the road, right? Early morning mist, uh, the canopy of the trees and all those things. Again, this makes the frame beautiful. So again, now this is where I took a chance by clicking this image vertical. Now you can decide whether you want to click the image vertical, horizontal, big lens, small lens. If you have a telephoto lens, would you like 200, 600? Would you like to click at 200 mm, or whether you want to click a close up or a portrait or a landscape? Now this is where it is personal choice, and I'm not here to tell you what image. Now I've got this image. Probably the tiger did not give me time. If tiger would have given me time, I would have clicked horizontal, and I would have shown you comparison, and then you could have decided. So whenever tiger gives you time, and the tiger is sitting, tiger is doing nothing, that's a time when you can experiment. But when the tiger is on in the motion, we want to make the best out of it. So again, this is where your pre-visualization comes in. Now I know Pilibhit roads are, the tracks have this kind of zigzag pattern, and I knew the pattern would look very good. And when I saw this tree frame, so the tiger was sniffing the tree which is on the right. So that time only I thought that it will do the scent marking on this side of the tree, but it smelled, and I don't know what happened. It it raised the tail, but it did not throw the scent. It came on this side. I'll show another picture. It came on this side, sniffed the tree over there, again scent canopy is there, and it scent marked that particular tree. So in I'll show you both the frames, wherein both the frames, my picture, uh, both were vertical, and both I try to compose in such a manner that the roads are visible. So again, this is where, understand, so many times it is not the subject, not the tiger, that makes the image stand out or beautiful. So please understand, if we just want the subject that is tiger, we can even go to the zoo. But what makes the picture beautiful, especially in tiger photography, it's the scape. So very important part, the landscape. And this is where the mist, the trees, the depth of field, all these things are the things that makes the image stand out and beautiful. So always pay attention to these elements. And I'm sure, see, please understand, when I see my images of yesteryears, I laugh at myself. I've made 1,000 mistakes. Now please understand, wildlife photography, there is a very popular saying which says wildlife photography is about spoiling your first 10,000 images. I repeat, wildlife photography is about spoiling your 10,000 images. And trust me, I would have spoiled 50,000 images. Am I perfect? No. Far, 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 far away from perfect. Am I doing mistakes today also? Absolutely. And trust me, if any photographer says that I don't do mistakes and all, he might either be too good or he might be a god. Now, what I would say is mistakes do happen. It's good to fail. Whenever you do mistakes, failure is good only if you learn from it. Very importantly, go back every day. I would strongly recommend that every day, whenever you shoot images, don't just dump your images in hard disk. I never do that. Every time I shoot, at least if not the same day, the next day I go away from my friends and all. I sit in my room. I see the images not on the camera but on the big screen on my laptop. Every jungle that I go, I carry my laptop without fail. How much important is camera? My laptop is important. I don't post process there. I would look at my images, where I went right, where I went wrong, and that same day, my sorting of the images takes place. Only good hard drive, and the ordinary images are deleted the same day. I don't want to carry waste images. Something that is not going to be used ever, that image is dumped then and there. I don't keep images for record's sake. All right. So, guys, uh, this is from a years of experience that I've understood. Your data, how you manage your data, and how you delete those non-essential things. Delete those non-essential things. Visualize, and every day, trust me, you are the best critic for yourselves. Right? Initially, you might not understand, but look into it. Like for example, there are certain elements like if the tiger is raising its tail, the front paw up, the stare, direct stare. One of my favorite shot is head on. I love head on. In fact, my friends call me head on. So I love this. Is again different people like different things. There is one friend of mine who does not like head on, who does not like close ups, who does not like portraits. He says tiger hi khoobsurati habitat mein. He only clicks. In fact, Madam was telling about a person whom I really admire, who's going to come and speak. Praveen Mohandas, one of the photographers whom I really love and enjoy, because that guy clicks the same subject. If I've used a 7200, he would click it on 24 mm. He would get a totally different perspective. He uses smallest of the lens. So again, this is he sees the image differently. So what I'm saying is everyone has the speciality. Everyone sees the image differently. So please understand, in photography, especially in photography, whenever you go into a particular jungle, visualize what you're going to click. Just visualize beforehand. Do you want a tiger in the mist? Like for example, uh, Mr. Uday Hegde is here. I remember, so like we had spoken before he was going to Kana, and he said, so like I'm not going there for tigers, and I'm going there only to click Barasingas in the mist. In one of the images, I really adore that particular image. Why? Because he has the Barasinga in the early morning golden light with the mist. It's a dream image where I would like to take that print and put it on the wall. So what I'm saying is, in when you're going to the jungle, your homework is very important. How much have you studied, or are you just depending on the element of surprise? You go to the exam unprepared, the result would be the same, fail, right? So there is a key to success which I tell my students also, and I tell everyone. It is applicable in photography. Proper prior preparation prevents poor performance. I repeat, proper prior preparation prevents poor performance. Have you charge your thing, right? I've done one of the mistakes which happened in 2015, and that's one of the biggest mistakes that I've done. I had given my camera for servicing on 30th of September at a service center. Now, when during that time when the cameras are serviced, they turn it from the raw mode to a JPEG basic. So he had turned into JPEG basic. He cleaned that particular lens and all. At that time, it was DSLR, not the mirrorless. He cleaned the mirror and everything he did. And so like I took it to the jungle on the 1st of October. I was at Kana. 1st October afternoon in Kana, so like I got my favorite tiger. His name was Bhima. I made him walk for about 40 odd minutes. I had some mind-blowing shots only to come back and see that all the images that I clicked were in JPEG basic, not even JPEG normal, JPEG fine. It was JPEG basic. It was not in RAW. And trust me, next day the tiger was not seen. And 20 days later, I came to know that this tiger was dead because of a territorial fight. Now, only if I would have done that homework of going back and checking my settings, that are the settings right? Please do that. And especially when you click your first image, okay, I do understand the tiger is still walking and all, but whenever you get a chance, just go back and review your image if the image is coming good or not, or what the setting is. Before, it's more like when you're going for a war, you check if the weapons are working or not. I would strongly suggest, and I'm telling you without any hesitation, I'm being very candid with you. I've done blunders, I've done many mistakes. So once I've gone into the jungle without memory card. Once I've gone into the jungle where my battery was still being charged, and I went inside the jungle with the camera without a battery in it, and there's no extra battery also that I'm carrying. So these kind of mistakes happen. So what I'm saying is, there is a saying which says the world is too small to do all mistakes ourselves only. We have to learn from the mistakes of others also. So my suggestion is, I've done this mistake. I don't want you to do that mistake. All right. Okay. Now see this side of the tree, this particular tiger, and now this is the other side. Now this is where he had done scent marking. But why I did not put that particular image? Why? Because at that time when he was scent marking, his feet was not. So like, I love that pose where the tiger is in motion and when you do this. All right. Any guesses what would be my setting over here? Any guesses? Anybody? What kind of setting? This is a February. February is a peak winter. As you can see, there is a blue mist there. It's a 6:30 a.m. shot. 6:30 a.m. shot. February. Can anybody roughly guess what would be the setting over here? Okay. So the setting over here, Salek, was I was using a 400 mm
Somebody,
f2.8. Yeah, sorry.
somebody is mentioning f5.6 ISO 1500 shutter speed 1000.
Okay,
Other person is mentioning 2000 shutter speed 5.6 ISO 1600. Another person is
okay.
mentioning underexposure with the high ISO and 400 shutter speed. One more
400
person
shutter speed.
mentioning 1/60th of a second, 2000 ISO f2.8.
Okay,
Yes.
wonderful. I think I've got a very good range of shutter speeds there. Now, please also understand your shutter speed, especially when you're clicking tigers. Very important part is try to. I don't know. I'm using the best of the cameras of Nikon, but one thing, if you ask all the photographers, one thing that you do not want in your pictures is noise, right? I always ensure that my ISO does not cross 6400. My ISO should not cross 6400. And for this particular image, since early morning light was low, now how do I ensure that my shutter speed is sorry? How do I ensure that my ISO does not go beyond 6400? Okay,
You
so
have a setting camera,
yeah, no,
auto
go ahead.
ISO, and you can
Auto,
set it
very good.
to probably
Manual,
6400 or less than that.
perfect, perfect. What else?
Uh,
Uday bhai?
also
Shutter.
probably you click in aperture priority and probably maneuver only the ISO, because you would probably, since the light is low, you would be at 2.8 if you're having a 400. Then you have, based on your shutter speed, you increase the ISO. If you want, for
Brilliant.
example, this tiger is just walking, so probably 400, 500 ISO is, shutter speed is more than enough to freeze the subject here. So based on the
Super,
shutter speed, set the ISO.
super, superb. I think can't get any better. I think it's experience which is speaking here. Now, ideal setting for this is my my ISO was 6400. I did not want to compromise on a higher ISO. What I did was actually, since I was at 400 mm, I could have always remember at what uh, at what focal length you're clicking. My personal philosophy is you should have a shutter speed of that. Now, if I'm clicking at a 400 mm, my shutter speed should be at least 1 by 400. And since Tiger, if you see tigers don't, Tiger just walking at 400 or 500, you will be able to capture the motion. Probably you'll be able to freeze it properly. So I don't need high speed. Now the Tiger is not running that I need 1 by 1000, 1 by 1200, or 1 by 1600. Tiger is not running, so I don't need that kind of shutter speed. So 400 to 500. In this case, I kept it as 1 by 500, but given a chance, I would have probably brought it to 1 by 400 also. Good for me was f2.8 was there. Good for me was f2.8 was there. But for those of you who are using a telephoto, and for you, you do not have 2.8 mm ka, f2.8 ka facility aperture, then what I would suggest is use beanbag. Avoid handle. Use beanbag. Try to underexpose it. Try to underexpose it. Why? Because then your shutter speed, your ISO will not pump up. Required ISO will not be high. That's how you can manage your limitations. So understand, see like how the settings work. Very, very important. If the tiger is just walking, if I'm using a 400 mm lens, I think minimum 400 I need. If I'm using a 7200, trust me, I could have used a 7200, and I would have got shutter speed of uh, 1 by 200 also could have been good. 1 by 200 also it could have been good. Why? Because I'm using a 200 mm lens. So minimum, but again, so like probably you might not get a perfect freeze. So that's the reason why better safe than sorry. So what you could do is 1 by 300. F2.8, 1 by 300. I'm sure your ISO will not cross more than 3200. So I think it's still manageable. Why? Because you can control noise in softwares like denoise. Those of you are using those software, but now you need not. I'm not recommending very strongly. I use denoise, Topaz denoise, but today Photoshop also has that denoise facility very good. So those of you can go for the separate software, well and good. Otherwise, Photoshop offers denoise facility, which I'm sure Lightroom also does. I use Photoshop, so this is where you can do wonders. All right. Now this is what happens. Now I got one of the very, very good moments. Now this is for all of you to understand. Now this is the time when I was using a 500 mm, right? And it was not a 400 mm. Now this is the problem that you face. And this was early morning, 6 a.m. winter morning, meeting couple on the road. It's more like dream come true. Do you see the difference in size? Now there is a Sundari female and there is a Barai male, the king of Pilibhit. He is there on one side, and it was more like, wow, it's a dream come true. But it's like if you look into it, now this image might look very good over here, but it's like I wish I would have seen the same tigers 45 minutes later. Why? Because the light would have been better. My ISO for this image was 12,800, I believe. 12,800 was my ISO. And I clicked at F4 because I had a 500 mm lens at that point of time. I clicked at F4. One, again, this is where I said mistakes do happen. One mistake that I did was I thought action would happen because the female was trying to avoid. I kept the shutter speed at 1 by 800. I thought the female would make sudden movements or it would jump and the male would try to follow and all. I over anticipated it. I kept it at 1 by 800. I wish I could have used the beanbag. Again, this is where I'm saying mistakes happen, but only the important thing. Now, what I could have, and I was doing that handle shooting. If I go back in time and I want to make a better image, I would click the same image on a beanbag at 1 by 320, right? 1 by 320, I would probably underexpose it a little more, and I would try to bring down my ISO from 12,800 to probably 4,000 or something odd closer. At least this image would be sharp. Now this image, I'm deliberately showing it to you. Why? Because it looks very good, great moment, but blunder. All right, it could have been much better. It could have been much better, and that's the reason why, again, as I said, in tiger photography, the only thing that you have control on is your camera, but you don't have a control on the atmosphere and what's happening. Okay, I think Narayanan has a question over here. Narayan, can you unmute yourself and speak? Yeah, Mr. Narayanan, you have raised your hand. Prema madam, can
तो
we take
भाई
the question
चैट
or
चैट चैट
yeah,
पे उन्होंने लिखा हुआ है.
Uday bhai, chat. Okay,
Yeah,
he has
yes.
mentioned the
You
question
want
on
me to
chat.
read it, or
No, I've got it.
Professor, you want me
Uh,
to read it, or you'll be able to go through?
yeah, I'm going through. Even if I ensure all
Okay.
basic settings are correct, some crucial pictures are blurred pictures. I don't use beanbag. I hold camera manually. My hands are fairly steady. Okay. Good part is again, so like today, and this is where, so like I just now said, don't keep unwanted images. There is a saying, every rule has an exception. There's one image which is very close to you, and you don't want to lose it out. Today, this image is, trust me, the image that I've just shown you, probably it's not usable, but I have the raw of it. Tomorrow, I don't know whether there are some softwares that would come up which would make this image usable, right? Now, Topaz has this AI sharpening. Topaz has this AI sharpening, which I've seen to a large extent, out of focus images are also corrected. Out of focus, non-sharp images are also corrected to a large extent. So probably you can give it a try. So I do understand uh, pictures are blurred. See, again, pictures get blurred, especially because of shutter speed. So you have to go back and review what's the shutter speed that you got. Now, at a later stage, I'm going to show you for what occasions you can have what kind of shutter speeds and all. So probably, Ms. Narayanan, at that point of time, feel free to ask me questions then. And Mr. Jeevan's like, you asked me motion blur. Yeah, motion blur is like, of course, like it's a very important thing. It's a deliberate attempt to ensure that like you are capturing fast action at a slow shutter speed. Again, that's where creativity comes into picture. And there are some people who not only capture the motion at a lower shutter speed, also pan it. So again, panning and motion blur are two crafts that are being used to by photographers who are into creative photography. Yes, it requires lots of practice. And again, so like please understand, many times like with tigers, people hesitate to do some experiments, especially why? Because safaris are expensive, sightings are low. Many times experimentation, you don't want to take chances, especially when it comes to tigers. So what you can do is that you can, if you want to uh, experiment in jungle, my observation is the best place to experiment is if you ever find langur cubs. Langur cubs are the best place to learn and experiment photography. So, given a chance, please try to experiment with langur cubs. Langur cubs will teach you a lot of things. And motion blurs, like you want to test your shutter speed, metering modes. Langur photography is the best way to learn. At least I've done a lot of experiments with langur cups. They're playful. Action can happen at any point of time. You don't know what's coming up next. All those things. So langur cups, don't miss that opportunity, guys. Apart from other things, jokes apart. On a serious note, it can even get you the BBC award also. All right. So don't take langur cups very lightly, please. So it will teach you a lot of things. All right. Any
Jitendra,
other question that you have? Yes, please.
actually, when we are in the sanctuary trip along with maybe two, three friends together,
Hmm.
including friends as well as the driver, they will not allow
Hmm.
us to take any other pictures other than tigers. They are all after the tigers. And
True.
I want to shoot anything apart from tigers, but nobody allows us to take. So trying our hand at langur cups is really, it is out of the sanctuary we can shoot.
Absolutely, sir. And this is I can't agree with you more. It has happened with me several times. It has happened with me several times, and I also personally, honestly speaking, why others? I'm mad about tigers, and many times I'm not stopped. And sometimes I regret today. That's like when I'm making coffee table books, sir. I've not stopped for a deer which was standing in meadows all alone, beautiful habitat, Barasinga in Kana, with such a beautiful habitat. So like now I feel like kicking myself. Why? Because I left that. Why? Because I want to be I was following that philosophy. Early bird gets a worm. I want to my vehicle stands at 5 a.m. in the morning and I am sitting in the gypsy, want to be the first one to enter. And I'm chasing tigers so madly there that there is a good subject that comes and I've not clicked it. And tomorrow while making, and this I've realized now more now, sir. Why? Because I've called people for a turtle image. I've called people for a sambar image. I would have missed clicking 1,000 sambar images in my wildlife journey. And I've called people saying, you have a good sambar image, why don't you share that for the book? And this is where I'm saying, so my particular request to you all is, do not miss out that particular opportunities wherever. I do understand. Okay, at least probably not in the beginning. In jungles like morning after 8, you find like it's more relaxing. The rush for the tiger comes down a little bit. So at that time, I do understand, might not be for half an hour, 1 hour, but at least 5 7 minutes. Spend time with other subjects also, because trust me, not only it can get you an award, but sometimes like I've seen the most simplest of the common subjects will give you extraordinary images. All right, so give it a try. I understand wildlife safari, especially tiger safari, being expensive. Chance of getting a tiger is less, and you want to make every minute count because every minute is expensive. So, but having said so, I said don't ignore tigers, but so like don't ignore other subjects also. At least after the first 2 hours, at least give that particular option. And I think, sir, you can tell we can have a common group rule, especially when we are going. You say so like, okay, first 2 hours I'll not disturb you guys, but in between, if I get a subject, at least you have to give me 5 minutes for it. Probably that we can do, Satish, sir.
Yes. Yeah. Provided the driver agrees.
In fact, trust me, today driver and guides are more excited about chasing tigers than, because the tips that they get is also based on whether whom they are chasing.
Yes.
All right, so this is again a image from Pinch, but again the beauty is like the mother was trying to cool herself in a hot summer afternoon. She's lying in a pool of mud, and she's all dirty, but beauty happens everywhere. And this is, I think this is one of the most adorable moment I would love to capture is mother and cubs. uh, One thing that I don't want to capture in the wild, I know people might not like my next words coming out. The thing that I would not like to shoot in the wild is a tiger with a blood smeared face, because in my books also I would like to show tiger as a regal animal. I would love to show tiger as an embodiment of love, affection, and all. I do understand tiger also has to eat, but I've also seen that a lot of people do not like that blood smeared face. People do not like when the tiger makes a kill, and I do understand. It's like we all, it's very easier said than done, but like I would like to love to show the beauty of the tiger in a positive sense. So that's my perspective, and especially mother and cubs. Whenever they, especially when mother comes and sits on the road, I know now the cubs will follow, and I'm all excited. I think more excited than the cubs, because I know there are some beautiful moments that are going to come now. So again, this is where I'm very very watchful of, and I would love to capture those moments. Those moments are more dear to me. This is while I was doing a full day work for the department. This is when this is a famous tigress Baras and a cub. The cub's name was Kismet. In fact, we christened him as Kismet, and this cub was just about 2 months old, and all her three, this cub's all three siblings lost their lives to wild dogs. So mother was so terrified that mother would do patrolling, her territory patrolling, taking this cub along. And that day, on a hot afternoon, in fact, it was not summer afternoon, but it was winter. This was the month of January, and she was walking in that hot afternoon sun at 12:30 in the afternoon, and she walked along with this 2 months old cub who was not able to walk for long, and she walked almost for 3 kilometers. And after walking every 100 steps or 200 steps, this cub would slow down. This cub would just sit and call for the mother, and the mother would stop. Mother would come and lick it and so like motivate it, and again. And that day I just did not see the mother and daughter's love, but I saw the pain that the mother goes through to bring the cub up. And so like this tigress, so like I just she happens to be my favorite tigress because I've spent not only days with her, but I've spent nights when I used to sleep in the forest chowki because I was working for the department. This tigress would be busy hunting for the cubs at 2 a.m. I've been woken up by alarm calls of the deer surrounding this chowki, and this tigress was hunting. And after I clicked this particular image, just 15 days later, this cub died. And my next visit to the jungle, I saw this tigress roaring, this tigress crying because she lost this particular cub also. This cub did not survive. And the entire 3 days that I was there in Painch, the mother was crying out because she did not get the dead body of this cub. So this cub was also eaten away by either intruding male or a wild dog, I don't know what, but she lost this particular cub also. And I could usually tiger roar brings wow kind of emotion in you, but when I saw this mother crying and all, I felt that pain in a mother's voice, and it was more like it was heart wrenching kind of thing that I went through. So when you work on a particular project and when you work for a book, you just don't see tiger as a subject of photography, but you see the pain, the trauma, the pain that the mother goes through. In fact, those kind of moments and makes you understand that the tiger can be so gently, such a wonderful mother on one side, and a fierce predator or a beast on the other side. How she manages her different roles and all. I think I'm a mad in love with tiger. But if God comes and tells me, would you like to be a tiger in your afterlife or your next life, I would say no, because I know how difficult it is to be the tiger. So again, this is what I've seen while I was working on different projects. When you spend too much of time with the tiger and all, when you are following the same tiger for months together and all, then you see a different side of it. You just don't see it as okay, striped cat and a beautiful subject for photography and all. You see the pain along. So I've gone through that. So I'm really sorry for talking this, but so like again, this is what I've gone through. Now, this is the famous Parvali and her 3 cubs. In fact, she had 4 cubs. The 4th cub was always shy and timid, and in most of the frames, it wouldn't be there. And it looks like this cub was out of place, and no wonder the 4th cub did not survive. And this tigress today also. In fact, this picture was last year. This year, June, when I was clicking this tigress, this mother kills a sambar today. The cubs are now sub-adult cubs. The cubs are now sub-adult. One of the sub-adult cubs picture, I'll be showing it to you later. Now, this tigress kills a big sambar, in fact, a pregnant sambar. So she kills it, and a sambar usually for a tiger family it lasts for about 3 days. And I was shocked to see, and again, since I was following this tigress for the coffee table book, and I was shocked to see that this tigress makes one more kill the next day afternoon, takes the cub, and then it's like in the binocs when we search for the carcass of that sambar, only the head was remaining. So what I'm saying is, a family of 4 can consume a fully grown sambar, which should be about 400 or 300 to 400 kilos. The entire sambar was devoured. So just imagine a mother making a kill every day. So she did not take rest, and she was all the time on the move. Her job was to make ensure that the kill happens every day. Why? Because she has hungry mouths to feed. So again, this picture on one side shows the beauty of the tiger, but on the other side shows the pain that a mother endures to bring her bring her cubs up. So again, the two sides of the story. All right, okay. This is a young male from Panna, and good part is on the rocks, the plateau, right? And this subadult male, if you can see, it shows the kind of tiger he is in making. He's not even touched too, but it's like he looks majestic. The stare. In fact, for especially for those people who are into photographing tigers and all, the best picture can be a tiger when it looks straight into your eyes, looks into your camera, and when the ears are straight. All right, when the ears are straight. So instead of going through the burst mode, you can probably pay attention to that, where the tiger looks at you, the framing. Now somebody might say, okay, why keep the subject here I have here this picture I've kept it purely to show it to you. It's not always the rule of one third, right? So to learn to play with the rules, it need not be always one third rule that you keep the picture on one side, and then say like keep it that way. I could have composed it vertical also. I could have made it a portrait mode. I could have composed it vertical, but select there was no beautiful habitat to show there, and there was no value being added. So I wanted to focus on the plateau, and that's why I kept. So please understand, there are no hard and fast rule that you must do this, you must not do that, and all. So learn to play by the rules and learn to experiment. I'm not saying that's like I don't have a vertical picture. The tiger stood for about 15 odd second. So I click two or three images in this particular mode and one or two images in the vertical mode. If the tiger is giving you time, don't hesitate to experiment. All right. So we'll also talk about tiger basics, diverse habitats, and tiger identification and strike patterns and all. So let's move further. Now this is one video which is not mine, but one of my friend's video. And so like I love this video, and I've told him that I'll show this video for sure. His name is Punit Sardeva, very good friend from Mumbai. I congratulated him, and whenever I conduct sessions, I always show this video. So like this tigress was stalking a deer almost for about 10 to 15 minutes. It allowed the deer to come close and all before it went for the kill. Now, good part is there were at least 20-25 gypsies. Those of you are aware of Corbett. People were standing at Sambar Road. People were waiting because they saw the tigress. They saw the deer moving towards the the tigress. They knew action would happen, but the tigress has a lot of patience. It wants the prey to come close before the fierce attacks come in. The tiger waits in patience because before the stealth mode was on, and the tigers was waiting patiently. 10-15 minutes, no action happened, and people were holding the cameras, their hands were paining. But this guy, Puneet, maintained his cool, ensured, and he decided, "Pehle ki, what do you want to shoot?" This guy is a photographer basically, but he said, "Now this is going to be good action, and I don't want to miss this footage." So he went to make the video. Now just watch the video and see how the action happens. And very importantly, what I want you to focus on is see how he kept in manual mode, and so like he kept it so simple, and he was zoom out. He never tried to experiment with zoom in, zoom out. He used a telephoto lens, but ensure that like never ever the frame went out of focus. So just pay attention to this, and how in Nat Geo kind of video he made out of this moment. And there were, as I said, 20 good vehicles, 20 plus. There were some top photographers. I've not named them, but there are some top photographers who missed a golden opportunity. The video for you. All right. How was the video? I hope you liked it. Now just see the actions. Like at one point of time, you would have felt that abhi pakada, and gone. It came such a close one. And I show this video. You know why I'm showing you this video? Because there's a lot of life lessons that you can learn from it. Anyone can tell me why the deer was not caught? Anyone? You can put your comments in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and speak also. I have no problem. Please. Why the deer was not caught?
Is it because of the stones, lot of stones there, which it could not take a run?
Good, Satish sir. Great point there.
It's running for his life.
Very good, excellent. When you run for the life, then obviously you have to be the faster one, right? Very good.
I think he
Okay.
could have waited a little longer to, for the deer to come closer. Maybe he just took
Very
off.
He just took off, and probably if you would have showed patience a little more, I love the deer to come a little closer, right?
Yes,
So
that's
again,
what I feel.
very true. It's like for me, one of the reasons why the deer was not caught, why? Because the deer never looked back. In life, many times we lose or we end up short. Why? Because like many times we stop and turn back. The fear, we look back. I think this is a very important lesson that we must learn. The deer survived because it focused only on what was ahead of it. He wanted to avoid the obstacles. He wanted not to stumble. He ensured that like he was only focusing on what was ahead. Many times, just observe when the deers they're more worried about what's happening. They turn, look around here and there, and they try to maneuver. And that's the time, instead of focusing what's ahead, if you focus on what's behind, that's the time you are overtaken and you are lost. So I think this is a very important life lesson that we must learn. So important part is, in the wild, it's not only about photography, it's about lessons in wildlife that you can carry with you. So in fact, I would always say that go with an open mindset, wherein it says life lessons from wildlife.
And a deer is
So please go. Yes, sir.
Deer is
Yes,
a
Prashant sir, you're saying something.
very light.
Your voice cracking, sir. Prashant sir, your voice
Sorry.
cracked.
Sorry, on a lighter note, deer is a vegetarian. That's why he's light.
Absolutely, it happens. Absolutely, it happens. And again, this is where this is on a serious note. Also, if you look into it, the deer is light, why, and it can run faster. Good part is the deer starts slow and it can pick up the speed. This is where about animal behavior you have to understand. Deer is light, it can start slow, but it can pick up a speed as it can run for longer speed, longer time. Sorry. Whereas a tiger start is very fast, a tiger burst is very fast, but it can only, because of its heavy weight, it cannot run for long. And that's the reason why it is said that a tiger cannot run beyond 20 seconds. And I think the same is said about cheetah also. Am I right, sir? So this is where I would say, so like Prashant sir said, very true. Deer is very thin, that's why it is light, and tiger being a bulky one, and that's the reason why it's like one must study the animal behavior, and this is the reason why tiger, the stealth is so very important. So like surprise element is so very important. Its cover was blown, right? Only, and how many of you, before I started the video, you could track the tiger instantly the minute I put it on the screen? It was very difficult, right?
Yeah, tracked it. Yes.
So this is
Was
where I would say many times like the cover is so very important in life. You don't want to reveal yourself to people too early. So that lot of lessons that you can learn. And again, this is where I would say wildlife, like you can learn so many things from owl, right? Owl has a great sense of hearing. It can see 360 degrees, and how it how many of you are aware that the chances of success of a tiger, it is said that like a tiger's success chances is 1 in 10 times. 1 in 10 times every attempt that is made by a tiger, only 1 in 10 attempts are successful. Owl, they say it is 90% chances that owls are successful. So owls have a better hit rate. So who's a better subject? So there are a lot of things that we can learn from a tiger or a lion or a species. So see what lessons of in life you want to learn. So it's just not only about photography; it's about other things too, right? So it's whether you're open to learning or not. Now this is a very important scientific contribution of photography. We as photographers contribute immensely. Photographers, whether it is through cameras or through camera traps, photographers have helped identify 2,967 individual tigers. So photography, does it help? Absolutely, it immensely helps. 14% of increase in population is directly attributed to the documentation done by photographers. They have not only helped identify tigers, but also some missing tigers. They force upon the department to find out why the tiger is not seen in his territory and all, which ensures, especially also so like an injured tiger has been many times notified to the department, have been notified to the department by the tourists. So this is where photography can also work towards conservation. 37 new tiger behaviors have been identified with photography. In fact, let me share with you a real story. While making a Bandhavgarh coffee table book, while making the book for Bandhavgarh, I had come across, or from the field actor, I heard about Mahot. Hindi में बोलते हैं Mahavat, the elephant driver, right? The Mahot. His name was Kuttappan. This guy had some Nat Geo moments. He had captured some Nat Geo moments, and the director said, probably for the department he might not give, but if you can convince him, he might give pictures. Why? Because he used to photograph, and those days, I'm talking about 25, 30 years ago, people would make slides out of those films, right? So he had those slides made, and can you imagine a Mahot's pictures being published by BBC 30 years ago? Can you imagine 30 years ago, a Mahot's picture being published by BBC? He had one of the pictures which became part of this particular book, which showed a totally different behavior, wherein it showed that there was a very famous tigress by name Sita, Charger, and their cubs. Before the cubs, and the cubs were fully grown adults. It says there was a family reunion that happened, and the Mahot was watching all this because he was on elephant back. He had a camera. He shot those images, which became part of the Bandhavgarh coffee table book, wherein he recorded in camera where the tiger Sita is lying down. All the grown-up cubs are suckling, and after they have suckled, the father also suckles, and all the cubs and the family separate, go in different directions. A new behavior recorded. I had one of the directors of Kana who shared one of the incidents with me. In fact, he had shared that picture also with me. I think it's a part of Kana coffee table book. Dr. Sanjay Shukla, who showed me an image where there was a tigress called as Choti Mada. The tigress name was Choti Mada in Kana Mukhi zone, and her cub was killed. Whatever reason unknown. The cub was very, very small. He clicked a picture, and he had a video evidence which showed the mother, who was also nursing another cub, ensured that this cub is not eaten by any other predator. The mother ate the own dead cub. A 2-month-old cub was eaten by the mother just to ensure that the scent does not lead to the other cub which was surviving. So a new animal behavior was recorded. Again, this is where photography can bring to light a lot of new animal behavior. Lots of behavior unknown to humans have been recorded. All right. Now, Bandhavgarh also, so like there were a lot of instances wherein so like there was a tiger by name Bamera, whose wife, so-called mate, had expired. She had two young cubs which were put in enclosure, and father used to come every day to meet the cubs. Can you imagine? Ever? It never ever the experts used to believe that so like it's only the female which brings up the cubs and the fathers only mark the territories and all. But a new behavior was recorded. Every day the father would come religiously to meet the cubs to see whether they're doing okay or not. Never ever observed. In fact, Ranthambore, I'm reminded of a male tiger by name Zalim, whose unfortunately his name was Zalim, but he was one of the most adorable father who used to make hunts. When his mate died, she had young cubs which are just 3.5 months old. The young cubs were brought up to adulthood by the father, never ever recorded. Right? Earlier it was only considered as a job of female, but never ever recorded that the father brought up the cubs. So again, a new type of animal behavior recorded by, and again, it came into open only because we had a photographic evidence. So that's the reason why I would say photography is not only for artistic value and other things, but also it helps in scientific contributions too. All right. Any other questions that you have? Any questions that you have? Okay. Satish sir, you said you had a tea with Kuttappan. Wow.
Yeah, I have already taken some 5-6 rides on his elephant. I have visited his house. We had a lot of chat with him and had tea. And he also had his homestay, which I said next
Very
time
good.
I'll use it. And I know
His son
about
is
this babies. Yeah, his son is looking after now.
Yeah. So,
And I knew
I
these
think
BBC people gave him cameras, lenses, and
exactly.
transparencies and all. Yeah.
Anybody who visits Bandhavgarh, I would request you to go and meet this Mahot by name Kuttappan. Trust me when I'm saying this. I wish I was there. I wish that day I felt that I should have been a Mahot because he captured some moments that never ever seen, never ever recorded in perspectives. All right, so lots to learn, and again lots to be captured. Moving on. Now, when we talk about now patients we spoke about, now we'll talk about fieldcraft, which talks about reading the environment, the movement of the subject and the silence that is there, and how do we blend with habitat. In fact, today there was a wildlife on the occasion of Wildlife Week. There was a web conference today about what should be done in tourism and conservation area. I said first, tourists should be also taught on not to wear heavy perfumes and not to wear fluorescent color clothing, including color reds and bright, vibrant colors to the jungle. And one thing that I'm against, and I'm sure that there would be a lot of people who would not like what I'm going to say now. I would say that children below 5 years should not be allowed in the jungle. Why? Because like the crying and all is something which is not controllable, and not only disturbs others, but very importantly disturbs wildlife too. So I'm against it. So again, so this is where I'm talking about blending with the habitat. Now, when I'm saying blending with the habitat, best part of nature is silence, and best part of nature is silence. And so like very important part, are you blending with the habitat, or when you friends go there, do you gossip, do you chit chat, do you keep quiet, or do you murmur and all those things? So that when I'm saying blending with habitat, it's not only you going with camouflage clothing only, but it's like do you blend with the habitat in terms of silence, respecting nature and all those things. Okay, I'll talk about it. Now, reading the signs, when I'm talking about, it's about pug marks and tracks, about tree scratches, scent marking, alarm calls. These are some signs that you must read. And what I'm saying is truth, bitter truth. And I'm sure there are a lot of people who might say, no, I'm a little exaggerating. I've been to jungles umpteen times, paid to the guide. Guide is there sitting there. They see a pug mark. I say female ka hai. That guy says male ka hai, right? And there are people, I'm not disrespecting any, but so like there are people who do not know how to differentiate between male and female pug marks. Now, it's very, very important that you must be able to look into pug marks, look into. Now, I know one of the drivers in Painch. I cannot imagine going without him. Uday also had a experience with him. This guy, even it's dawn, light is not fully on, and this guy just with the twitch of his headlamp can see the road and say, "Sir, target tiger chal raha hai, pug mark de." He stops the vehicle and shows his pug mark yahan hai. The pug mark is hardly visible, but that guy can see the pug mark like as if it's a pug mark that is as bold like this. I've never seen anybody who can read pug marks like that particular guy does. Now, pug marks are more like nameplates. So you have to understand whether it's a male tiger that is moving around or the female. Now, based on male or female that's moving in and the time that you see pug marks, male tigers, if you see the pug mark on the road, you have to understand he's come out on an early morning patrolling duty. And males, when they walk in the morning, they walk long. So the chances of seeing is very much. All right. Now, please understand. Do you see this pug marks? Guys, do you see the pug marks?
Yes,
They're
we
there
can see.
on the screen.
Yes, yes.
Male or female? Male or female? Anybody? Come on, guys. Simple. Male.
Yeah,
good.
if you say it's male, looks like a
Okay.
male.
Looks like a male. Very good.
Females
Male.
should
Very.
not say it's a male. Rema.
Opposites attract.
All right. On a lighter note, please don't take me wrong and no disrespect to anyone. Now, please understand, I've deliberately put this picture because it's a AI generated
This
image.
may not
It's
be this one, no? It's not real, right?
it's neither male nor female because like if you see the number of fingers are 5.
Mm.
Tigers don't have this kind of 5,
I see. And it's
right?
too good to be true.
Yeah, too good to be true. But again, this is not a real pug mark, and I think this is where AI sometimes does not do a good job. But deliberately, I ensure that I keep this particular slide. Why? Because many times like it's misleading. So one should be see male and female pug marks. The male pug marks are more like curved at the end. They're big. They're not pointed. Like how we have our fingers. The male fingers are more like thick, but whereas like females, so like it's more like the pedicure and the manicure done fingers and the nails. How the end part of it is more pointed. If you look at the fingers, male fingers and female fingers, you'd clearly see the difference that male fingers are more like curved, whereas female fingers are more like pointed. Same is the case with male pug mark and female, and the pad. The pad of the male is a little bigger and the cut is a little different. So not only the edges, but also the pad, if you look into it, the main pad that is there, look into that and you will be able to identify the difference between male and female.
But
Worst
another
part
thing is the pad
yes,
in the middle. Is it a mount or should it be a hollow? Because I think the tigers,
it should be hollow.
it
Should be hollow, man. It should be hollow.
Yeah.
Why? Because yeah. That's the reason why that's a wonderful observation, madam. Because it should be hollow. It should not be there because that's the place where the pad is there. So do not trust AI blindly. Very good observation, madam. So the pug marks, you have to identify the difference in pug marks and if possible, so like especially if you're going to jungles regularly. Now, many times they see a small pug mark and instead of leopard, I've the worst part is they know that this part of the jungle, this female has cubs, and then they'll say, "Sir, कब का भी pug mark है." Then I have to tell him, "Boss, ये कब का pug mark नहीं है, ये leopard का pug mark है." Now this is where do you understand this? If you're going to the jungle, you must be able to read not only the signs of the jungle but also the pug marks. Pug marks are the most important signs that you would see in a jungle. So try to read pug marks and tracks and all. Based on that, how good or your ability to catch that subject depends on whether you are able to read the signs that jungles gives you. And somebody who are able to read, it's more like there's a cryptic puzzle or cryptogram kind of a thing, and it's a puzzle to be solved. You have to, I would say, it's a puzzle where you keep the different pieces of puzzle together and to see the complete picture. How many of you are able to identify those signs and put the piece of puzzle together to see the complete picture? That matters. Male tigers, tree scratches, and so like especially it is seen the male tigers are the most habitual. It's more like supremacy. They want to put the scratches high up, and especially so like their scratches are deep. Whenever you see a tree scratch, take the pen, and if possible take a pen or a stick and see how deep is the scratch. So the more deeper it is, the younger the tiger it is, right? So probably look into that. The tree scratches, the higher the tree scratches, the bigger the tiger it is, and especially that's how you can differentiate between male or female. A tiger always stands on its hind leg and put the scratch. So males are said to be means taller. So their scratches usually are 9 feet and above height. So if you see a scratch which is above 9 feet and all, say it is done by a male. Usually females usually pick up the logs in the woods that are fallen. A female would rather would get on top of it, the fallen log, and try to put the scratch mark. So that's one observation that I have seen. Usually male standing tree and the female fallen logs. That's most commonly. But again, as I said, I've also seen female using scratch marks on the standing tree also, but mostly it is the fallen log. All right. Scent marks, very, very important. Anybody, any idea how does scent mark smell like? Anybody? Okay, it smells like you've just cooked basmati rice. How
Oh my God.
basmati rice smells like basmati rice? So this smell of that spray smells like basmati rice. So especially if there's fresh spray mark while you're passing by the trees and all, especially trees are the very important places, and especially if it's a prominent tree, that's a place where pakka it would for sure it would scent mark. And if you can smell something like a boiled rice or basmati rice smell coming in, so that means the tiger, if you're able to smell it, the tiger has been there just a short while ago. Very likely that you can catch it if you show patience. So very important part, whether you request, whenever you see this kind of signs and all, stay there, right? Don't get restless. And again, it's more like, for example, you're waiting for someone's call. Only many times you might miss the person because you did not wait for long. All right. So if you wait for long, probably you showed little more patience, you would get. And many times you hear, the worst thing to hear is, "Aap gaye aur tiger ab bhi nikla, aapke piche nikla." And trust me, it's easier said than done. Many times I heard it, and this is the worst thing that you'd ever want to hear. You stayed there for 2 hours, you lost your patience. You said, "Come on, let me go and freshen up, or let me go for breakfast," and you left, and the tiger came out, and that's the worst thing to listen to. Alarm calls is another thing. Alarm calls made by deer, monkey. In jungle, so like the most dependable alarm call is, anyone? The most dependable alarm call. Very rarely, because usually monkeys and langurs will also do alarm call for their biggest enemy, that is leopard. Anyone?
Sambar.
Come on, guys. Excellent,
Sambar.
excellent. Sambar call is Sambars have a very short eyesight. They cannot see long, and they have a good smelling power, so they can smell the tiger if it is very, very close. And Sambar call is more or less like a gunshot thing that which shows that like the thing is near. So cheetah and Sambar calls, langur warning, and peafall alerts. Peafall alerts are very, very important, and especially if the peafall calls and starts flying, that means for sure it is. Peacock also calls for, any idea? Any species that peacock is very, very afraid of? Anyone? Especially if a peacock calls, you must look into the sky. If there is a changeable or a hawk eagle, changeable hawk eagle, or now they have a different name, but like a changeable hawk eagle is the biggest enemy of peacock. If it's not sitting on a treetop and the peacock is making a call, that means there is a tiger nearby. And if it calls and it flies, that means 100% there is a tiger. So these are some of the signs that you must keep watching. And many times, because I waited for the alarm calls and also like I got to see. My driver forwarded me a video yesterday of a tiger in Kana. So I'm going to play this video. This is a video from Kana. Now, what I want you to pay attention is, I'll ask, what did you observe? I want you to listen to the alarm calls, and I want you to tell me what did you understand. Do you see deers in the backdrop? Okay, a small video, 20-second video, but like, what did you see there? A small video, but what did you see there? Did you hear the alarm calls?
No, the
No, we-
audio was not there.
Audio
No,
nahi
Oh,
tha.
audio was not there. Okay. In fact, I played the audio, but I think the audio is low. So now, very important part is, अगर रुक रुक के call हो रहा है, if the call stops and there is one deer shouting, or at the most one, and it is on and off calls, understand the tiger is there, the prey has already seen it, but the tiger is sitting. Understand? If the call is periodic calls, one makes a call, then you have few seconds silence, then other. Now, if you see this call, if the call is made by many animals, there is a langur which is calling, there is a cheetal which is calling. Now the jungles and the forests shudder when the king walks. So if there are a lot of subjects and one after another they are continuously calling and all, which means the tiger is on the move. And see which direction the call is moving. All right. See which direction the call is moving, because the tiger is moving in that direction. This is where a good driver and guide will come into picture. They should know which direction the call is moving, and based on that, they should know ye pagdandi kahan niklegi and where the tiger is likely to come out. And this is where I pay for the same driver. Every jungle I go, the driver has to be the same, the guide has to be the same. I do not compromise with my driver and guide, because I pay them because of the subject knowledge. They should know if this tiger is walking in this direction, which pagdandi is he going to use, and where he is likely to come out. Yes, I know there is a element of guesswork, but there's a calculated guess, because they observe this tiger time and again. So this is very, very important, that you should hire the right person for the job. Very, very important. All right. Now, quickly, understanding the tiger behavior, the daily rhythms, territorial patrol, hunting patterns, individual quicks, right? So, very, very important. Now, understanding tiger behavior, like for example, there is a tigress by name DJ. Which tigress I'm talking about? From where? DJ. It's not disco jockey, but it's like
DJ
female. Anyone? Excellent. Uday bhai is saying this because Uday bhai has clicked that tigress.
आप DJ
right?
का नाम आपको याद है, मेरा नाम आप भूल गए आप.
Oh, right, Karthik bhai. Sorry, Karthik bhai. My apologies. My apologies.
Relax.
So good to see you. So good to see you, Karthik bhai.
Same here. DJ. Last time when we were shooting, we saw DJ.
Absolutely. My apologies, Karthik bhai. Really
nahi,
sorry.
Okay. Okay, Jitu bhai.
Now DJ stands for Dhava Jandi female, the reigning queen of Mukki zone in Kana. Now this tigress has this particular habit. वो दिन में compulsory एक बार उसके favorite water hole. The water hole itself is called as DJ water hole. Now the dawn and dusk part is the time where you are likely to see it. And very importantly, especially a tigress with cubs, this is where studying animal behavior is so very important. If there's a tigress with cubs, she will wait till the tourists are gone. So the tigers have watch in hand. And one thing that I've learned, especially since I do full days, especially since I work in the department, trust me, if you think we as humans are intelligent, you have not seen tiger. Tigers, they have GPS in their minds. Can you imagine a tiger, when it walks at Pagdandi, it does not need to see it has a GPS in his mind. A tiger can come to a territory in no time. It knows how to take the shortcuts. It knows without looking up in the sky, it knows where the jungle is leading. They have GPS. And the tiger has a watch in the hand. It knows that if all tourists are gone, this is the time, chalo. And I've seen when I was doing full day, and it was 1:45, 2 o'clock, the gypsies are about, it's more like the mother who was sitting till now very comfortably in a cool water hole. She gets up and she says, come on kids, it's time that we go. Tourists are going to come and it will be chaos now, let's go. And I'm seeing that's like, and the tigers happily, they walk up the hill and they go, they drink to the full, they go. And now the tourists, in the next 5-10 minutes, the tourists come rushing, and all they see on the roads is pug marks. And I feel bad to tell them that ab bhi gaya tiger upar, and I avoid telling that. Why? Because it hurts. People come with a lot of anticipation and eagerness, and it's bad thing to listen that till now the tigers were sitting over here and they just left. So this is where I'm saying that tigers have a beautiful knack of time. So if you are trying to capture a female, so like afternoon times are very important. And if you're doing full days, go to those areas where female with cubs are there. See, this is where you have to understand tiger behavior, and the daily rhythms are so very important. I know, I don't know whether you're able to read it. Now I've divided male behavior and female behavior in terms of territory, hunting patterns, cubs, right? And water holes, vocalization, right? What kind of do they do and all, and the movement, right? Like for example, male tigers are active during nights, right? They sleep 18 to 20 hours. The male tigers are sleeping, but female with cubs, she hardly sleeps for 6 to 7 hours. But most of the time, she's either performing duties of a mother, or she is busy hunting. She's trying to protect the cubs. She is trying to find out intruders, and also female with cubs, they don't sleep long, but male tigers. And this is where you have to understand the territories also. When we talk about territories, a male tiger has a territory of 50 square kilometers, whereas a female has a territory of 10 square kilometers. So in a male's territory, there are about 4 to 5 females. So female territories will do more territorial patrolling every second day or every third day. But a male, you have to understand the behavior, that male would come back to its territory for scent marking once every week. So if he has done the territory marking here, and if you have seen this male tiger again tomorrow in the same area, you have to understand this tiger has done a kill. That means he is going to be there at least for the next 2 or 3 days. Or he's either eating his own kill, or is he eating the kill of a female. That's why he is seen the next day. Usually once the male tiger has done territory marking, since he has bigger areas, so it comes back to the same territory after every 7 days. So because the territories are bigger, but a female would come back to the territory every second day or a third day, that way. So cubs and all, water holes, and as I said, males, if they sit in a water hole, they don't mind tourists. They're more open to tourists coming in because they're lazy. They want to sit in the water hole. They don't care whether you are there or not. If it's hot outside, they want to cool. They don't care. But females are very cautious, especially if the cubs are young, because it doesn't want the cubs to get anxious or afraid. So especially if the cubs are small, the mother would avoid tourist vehicles. So that's some of the patterns that you must be ready to understand and ready to work with. Okay. Now, Again, this is where from anticipation to action, the best thing to do, especially if you are a photographer, try to go to the jungles which has mother and cubs, and especially young cubs. Young cubs, I'm talking about 9 months to 15, 17 months, 9 to 15 months. These cubs are the most active, most playful. If you want to catch cubs in action, go to places where tigers are there with young cubs. Like for example, now I was in Tange for the book work, and I saw cubs which were so playful, but unfortunately the forest was dense. I couldn't get any great picture, but so like a lot of playful. So like these cubs, like what they do, they are now sub-adult. When the mother is gone, also they don't care and they play around. But if the cubs are playing on the road in the open, that means you must understand the mother is somewhere nearby. So don't try to play a hero, because if you try to take chance, nobody's watching, you try to get down, there are people I'm not going to name, but there are people who got on the vehicle, click the picture. And so please do not do daredevil stunts if the cubs are out in the open. If they're out in the open, that means they act bold when the mother is around. They say, come on, I dare you, come. Why? Because the mother is somewhere around. So be very, very cautious. If the cubs are out in the open, that means the mother is around, so you have to be a little careful. And very important, please understand, I've on a full day, so like there have been occasions wherein I waited at the same place. My gypsy didn't move an inch, because my driver's hunch was that, so like, sir, tiger idhar hi baitha hai, aayega. It's more like it's a waiting game. Who loses the patience? He openly told me, and I have a lot of respect for my driver. His name was Irshad, one of the finest drivers that I've driven with from Corbett. He says, I was working for the book. He said, sir, tiger to idhar hi hai. वो यहीं से निकलेगा. He was adamant that the tiger would come out from there. It would not take the back route. He would come out from there. It's now only a game of patience. Ki who lose the patience? If we lose the patience, we will go to a room. But if we hold our guard, the tiger, and trust me, after 5 years, the tiger lost the cool. He wanted to have a water. He came out there. He gave us good shots, and the patience was rewarded. So please understand. Many times you have to understand, so like there will be a lot of time that you will have some empty safaris, and that's the reason why whenever I go to jungle paid safaris also, I do nothing less than 8. I do nothing less than 8. I always would say, avoid disappointment. To avoid disappointment, do more safaris. It's the rule of plenty. The more opportunities you give yourself, the better the chances that you would click at least one opportunity would click. Anytime I go in the jungle, I always wait for that 10 minutes. I say, मुझे tiger के साथ 10 minutes चाहिए. 2 or 3 good pictures, I'm very happy. I'm not greedy. 2 or 3 good pictures, dil mange more, but so like 2 or 3 good pictures makes me happy, and I love to enjoy those good moments. And this is what I would always encourage people to do that. And please understand, give yourself 6. And very importantly, my personal, and this is what I do. If in the jungle there are 4 zones, 5 zones, I don't go to any other zone. But if I'm doing 8 safaris, all 8 safaris in one zone. I do not take chances. आज नहीं दिखा, कल नहीं दिखा, परसों तो दिखेगा. First में नहीं दिखा, 5th में नहीं दिखा, 7th में नहीं दिखा, 8th में तो दिखेगा. I follow that particular rule, and I always believe in this very popular quote: if you chase 2 rabbits, you'll get none. So don't focus on too many things at the same time. Stay focused. Follow one tiger. I only always, in any jungle that I go, I plan it out. This time I'm going to chase this tiger. बीच में कुछ दिख गया, bonus. But my focus is always on one particular tiger, one particular zone. So that I always believe, if you chase 2 rabbits, always remember, if you chase 2 rabbits, you'll catch none. So that's what I strongly believe in. So beyond camera, what works is your resilience and humility, right? Be humble, learn from photographers. And again, as I said, stay hungry, stay foolish. Do not hesitate to ask for help. Like Mr. Karthik is there. I have called him several times. I have asked him for his help. I have asked him for his guidance. And there's no shame. There is no shame in accepting the fact that you don't know everything. You're not God, right? Have that particular thing, that be humble. Say that's like, can you tell me how did you click that picture? How did you edit that way? What was the settings, right? What can you share the exact details? Do not hesitate. Ask for it, because tomorrow you will get that opportunity, and you are prepared. Remember, a prepared person seldom fails. Very, very important. A prepared person seldom fails. If you don't want to fail, be prepared. All right. So remember, every minute that you spend in the wild is a living classroom. Every minute that you spend in the wild is a living classroom. And life skills, very, very important. Try to see what lessons in life are the wildlife teaching you. So again, 3 pillars of success: precision, persistence, and patience. Now, what is precision? I would love to share one piece of advice that was given by a wonderful friend and a great photographer. He told me, Jitu bhai, to know your settings, you know what you should do? Switch off the lights. Switch off the lights. Hold your camera, and there is a main dial and there is a sub command dial, right? Main dial, sub command dial. He says, if you are turning it twice, you should know what the setting is. If you turn it three times anti-clockwise, you should know what the setting is. You should, blind in the dark, you should know where your ISO button is, and you press that ISO and you turn the dial 3 times. You should know what your ISO is now reading. He says, open the light, check whether you're on dot or not. You know what? Most of the time in the jungle, especially when we're clicking tigers, you do not want to waste that second, because एक second में game हो जाता है. So what you want to do is that you want to be right. So you don't want to pick up the gaze and look, oh, this is the ISO button. Now I have to press this button and change settings. So what you want to do, you are looking through the eyepiece. Most of the time we see the jungle through the eyepiece, your viewfinder. Now through the viewfinder, when you're looking at it, you must be able to press a button, and you know that either you are pressing an exposure compensation button or ISO button, and then 2 times you have pressed it clockwise. What's the reading? You should know that. And that's what I call, when I talk about precision, you should know what setting should it be. You should know. So like, for example, when the tiger is walking, the light and shadow effect is there. You should know which kind of metering mode are you going to use. You should know which metering mode works at what point of time. You should know, so like, if you're clicking a black sloth bear, your exposure compensation should be plus or minus, right? Similarly, if you're clicking a polar bear, what should be the exposure compensation? You are clicking a habitat shot, what should be the things? What should be shutter speed, or what should be aperture if you're clicking a landscape, right? So all those things are very, very important, and this is what we talk about precision. It's more like, I give you a scenario, and you must be able to tell me that, okay, for this particular picture, this is likely the setting going to be. Very, very important. That's what I call it as precision. Why? Because the settings are there in your mind, and if you can do it blindfoldedly, you are a master of your settings. And persistence is not giving up, going back to the same jungle. Like, one of my favorite jungles ever, one of my favorites is Dudhwa. Can you believe that I have done more than 30 to 35 safaris over there, and that's only jungle in the country that I've not seen a tiger. But I'm going to go back again this year. That's one of my favorite jungles. I would love to click a tiger there. 30 to 35 safaris, 4 visits to the jungle, not even a single tiger. But I wouldn't lose hope. I would not like to fail there. I'm surely going to go this year, and I'm going to click one tiger there. So I'm not lost hope. So it's more like never say die approach. That's persistence. And patience is the waiting game. All right. So these are three P framework, 3 pillars of successful photography. You must learn to master it. Now, guys, I'm showing you 2 images. 2 images which got me a lot of likes, right? Now, these got a lot of likes, but these are incomplete images. 2 good images. As I said, I love head-on. And this is Parvali's subadult cubs. I've shown that small cubs pictures with mother and 3 cubs. And now this is the grown-up cubs, subadult. Almost 2 years old now. Almost 2 years old now. Guys, these 2 pictures, important thing. There are mistakes in these pictures. What are those? Anyone?
Jitendra ji, first picture tail is
Yes, sir.
not made out.
Okay. Good. Nice observation, sir.
Second one, I think black background blur.
Okay. Nice. Anybody else? Can you
Tiger on the
give it a
rock.
try?
Editing, post-processing.
Okay, Karthik sir. Not bad. See, I
क्योंकि
would
background
not
ज्यादा
touch editing.
contrasty लग रहा है जो head on में
हाँ,
is more attractive
yes, yes.
compared to the tiger, and यहाँ पे the tiger looks too bright.
Where?
On the rock.
The left one?
Yeah.
On the rock. Okay. Now, see again. One thing that I always would say, editing is something which is personal. Karthik sir would edit it differently. Prashant sir would edit differently. Sati sir would edit differently. Editing is personal choice. Okay. Now, there is a big flaw in both the images. If you observe it very carefully, in both the images, in the first image, the tiger walking head on. You know what's a perfect head on, sir? Perfect head on, the tail is never visible. In a perfect head on, the back of the tiger should not be seen. I went low, but I should have gone little more down. As you can see, the tiger is coming up the cliff. The tiger is coming up the cliff. My vehicle is coming down. Why? Because I want to be that eye level. But this part that is seen, the back of a tiger should not be seen when it's a perfect head on. What you see is only the face. The back should not be seen. And this would be up perfect, but the back, this part that is being seen here, in a good head on, that should not be seen. In a good head on, the back is never visible. So that's the reason I always suggest jitna, especially when you're clicking a tiger head on, as low as you can get. I was clicking this tiger sitting in the seat, and I was sitting down and seat ke upar rakh ke main le raha tha. I wish I could have gone 2 feet lower and clicked it by bending. This is what I did not do, and I think this is one of the reasons why this image, post-processing, yes, I do understand different people would process it differently, but here the back that is visible over here should not be there. And here, if you see, this tiger was walking, I was clicking, and my hands were paining. I just kept it down, and this tiger suddenly jumped on the cliff, jumped on the boulder. And you know what? By the time I picked it up and I clicked, I got the shot, which is not a perfect stare. If you look into it, is it looking directly into my camera?
No.
You know, the difference is I was just 1 second slow. I was 1 second slow. A great picture would have been while it was jumping onto the rock, and then it jumped and it looked at me and it is looking straight into my thing. His tail would have been a little more up. Now that would have been a perfect shot. Now this is a sideward glance, not a direct stare. A good picture is when the tiger looks into it, the attitude is visible, and that is wow kind of shot. So again, this is where I said mistakes happen. When you go back and evaluate your pictures, look into it, whether the picture is complete. You be the biggest critic of your own image. Karthik sir,
Anji.
now this picture that you see of the boulders and all, now trust me, you know why I did selective darkening and why I made the tiger stand out? Because it is summer.
Ambience आपको दिखाना
Ambient.
था.
Correct. And over there, it is not black. It is so whitish brown because it is peak summer. I'm talking about peak summer there in Corbett, and it was more like a dead background.
Okay.
So that's why I had to darken it. Why? Because the tiger was blending in it.
Yeah,
and
sure.
that was the problem.
एक सवाल था जीतू भाई.
Yes, sir.
One do you have a perfect head-on shot of a tiger? Okay, because I also
Yes.
have head-ons which are, similar to what you have shot here. So I've never
Mhm.
got an opportunity where it is only the head that is seen. Two, the stare,
Mhm.
it's not just related to tiger, but across all animals in the wild. I've observed,
Mhm.
to have that perfect stare, that interaction, looking at you, interacting with an audience. ये चीज वो
Mhm.
जानबूझ के नहीं करते हैं.
Mhm. Correct.
जानबूझ
Very
के
true.
नहीं करते हैं. So I'm trying to understand. See, that's my experience. Be it here in India or be it in Africa. Every
Mhm.
time you are like, अच्छा देखो मुझे एक shot चाहिए, वो perfect portrait चाहिए, and they don't give. You keep on clicking. इस चक्कर में you fill the card. कि
Yeah,
अभी
I know.
देखेगा अभी देखेगा. What is it a sign? Is it a behavior? क्या है?
It's animal behavior. It's animal behavior. Let me tell you about one of the famous tiger now, which is in a zoo. Uh, with the most famous male tiger from Tadoba recently put into Gorewada Zoo.
Mhm.
Chota Matka.
Hmm.
Chota Matka, the most ferocious tiger, which killed about 7 to 8 males in his territory.
Mhm.
When he would walk head on, he would never look into the camera. He would walk with his head like this.
Mhm.
He never walked looking into the camera. Very, very few people. I hardly know of anyone's like who has that perfect head-on shot of this guy. This guy was always more like that. That was his habit. He would just walk like this. Hardly. It was more like head is up, but it was not like a shot wherein it's standing a perfect head-on where you are low and it is looking straight into the camera. Mhm. So I mean, it depends from tiger to tiger. Whereas if you see this tiger's DJ, used to walk on road, and she
Yeah.
used to walk looking at people. Similarly, say like Baris, I would have 100 perfect head-on shots of her because I think this is the tigers that I photographed the most. I would have terabytes of her pictures, and she would give you perfect. And she was a tigress which would walk carefree, and it was more like, okay, you want to shoot, give me space, I'll walk with you. And
Hmm.
I've got many shots perfect head on with her. So
Okay.
the only issue over there, what I'm saying is, are you ready? Are you ready? It's like, as I said, this could have also been a perfect head on. I deliberately showed the image which is not perfect one. Why? Because it's it's very easy to think that people don't do mistakes. Everyone does mistakes, but very important is, are you ready to learn from it?
True. Agree.
So, Professor, I have one
Yeah,
observation here.
yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Is there, see, I have seen this with my pets,
Mm-hmm.
dogs, a male and a female. So many times
Mm-hmm.
when we try to take pictures, the male is quite okay looking into the camera, but the
Mm-hmm.
female, when you point the camera at her, she either looks away, she turns to a side or something. So is this there even in the wild, male and female? Do they have this kind of a behavior where they don't look directly into your eye or something most of
No,
the
ma'am.
time?
Most of the time, but so like again, see different. Again, this is now again coming to parks. Now there is a saying which says like, if you want to click a good male picture, then for a long time it was said that roady road, अगर आपको photo खींचना है, male tigers which are bold and you want to click them, so like go to Kana.
Munna.
But Munna was there, and then we had Kingfisher male, then we had Chota
Chota
Munna,
Munna.
then we had Umar Pani and all.
Hmm.
So like male tigers, roady road, kilometers together.
Mm.
You go to Corbett, you will die for a male tiger, ma'am. In my entire life, except for that grassland females cub 1 or 2 times, that too with them in the subadults, I got. But male tigers, they would see a vehicle and they would run off. They would go like as if say like you have come with a tranquilizer. They would run like that. They see a vehicle and they start running helter skelter. So it's that way, ma'am. So like again, depends on park, depends on tigers. Now in some parks, like for example, Khana, the males are more camera friendly than females.
I see. Yeah.
So again, depends on places. like Pilibhit. Can you believe, ma'am? So like at Pilibhit, I've clicked more of male tigers than female tigers. Karai belt. In fact, it is more like if I have 5 pictures of male, I've got only 1 picture of female. It's that proportion that I've got.
But
With the
Jitu
same
bhai,
Karai belt,
sorry, continue karo.
yeah, please, okay.
नहीं, but it also depends on people who are patrolling. ये जो बाइक में साइकिल में जाते हैं, they say because of which उनके कुछ activities के वजह से, these males, they're very shy and they run away.
See,
Especially
again,
बांधवगढ़ में.
No, correct. But so like again, the cycle patrolling also happens in Tadoba. Foot patrolling is in every jungle of the country has to have foot patrolling, mandated by NTCA. Can you imagine? So like carcass found inside. You know how do they find carcass? Because there is foot patrolling done inside on foot, inside the jungle, and not on the roads, inside.
समझ गया मैं.
And 15 kilometers of mandatory patrolling has to be done every day by field staff, and that's why hats off to them. Because
But I don't want to make it controversial, क्योंकि बांधवगढ़ में मैंने बहुत सुना है कि इनके करतूतों के वजह से वो मेल टाइगर रुकता ही नहीं है, देखते जैसे व्हीकल का आवाज सुनता है तो भाग जाता है.
बस. And again, so like why only to talk about these people? Now, on tourists, as tourists, there were tigers which are very friendly. Then so like people crowd them, people do not give the way. The tiger charged. I've seen jungles where the tigers were so friendly. It was more like you many times felt like taking them home, and suddenly these tigers are
ferocious.
Get out, and they become so ferocious that they start charging on the vehicle. And in next month, so like I go one trip, I fill my cards. Second trip, I see them charging at vehicle. Third trip, this tiger comes only onto the road when all the tourists are gone. Thanks to whom? Tourist, right? So again, Karthik bhai, it is, see again both the sides. Sometimes, right? Now, the lesser we talk about Ranthambore, the better it is.
True.
So like, so it's again, so like many times, it's sometimes a patrolling, sometimes we as tourists. I think it's very easy to pass on the blame to others here, but so like I think we are no less either.
नहीं, मेरा end of the day ये कहना था कि we are the reason जो भी हो रहा है.
No doubts. See, अगर ड्राइवर गाइड या पेट्रोलिंग वाले भी अगर भगा के टाइगर को दिखा रहे हैं, it is because there is a demand for it, right?
Yeah.
Demand and supply है, simple.
Changes are happening because of us.
True, very true, bhai. All right, moving on further. This is about net worth, and this is why you should take care of tigers. We earned close to $23 billion from 6 tiger reserves. Only from the first 6 top tiger reserves out of the 55 tiger reserves that we got, $23 billion of revenue comes only from the first 6 tiger reserves. And more than 350 rivers originate from the jungle. So that's the reason why the minute tigers are gone, all the jungles will dry up. So that's the reason why you should pay attention to tigers, right? So these are the economic value of tigers. These are for a different day. Habitat loss, things that are problems for the tiger is habitat loss, human wildlife conflict, poaching, and so like prey depletion. These are some of the challenges that tigers are facing. Now, key tiger reserves, Corbett,
Professor, can I interrupt you for a second, please?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So Hardik has raised a hand for the previous picture. So I will. Sorry, not Hardik.
Which one?
It's Harsha. Harsha has raised his hand. So maybe he had a question for the earlier picture.
Yeah, please, Harsha. Harsh, please go ahead.
Good
Please.
evening,
I'm really
sir.
sorry. I did
How
not
are
see.
you? Good evening,
I'm
sir.
doing.
How are you?
Oh, how are you, ma'am? So good
We
to see
are
you.
doing good. Yeah, so good to see you. I just wanted to ask a question regarding the previous portrait. Where Chota Matka has never been picturized, where he is in eye contact with the camera.
Correct.
The same thing I have observed with his mother, Choti Tara, also. So, is this a hereditary thing that comes, or?
Ma'am, again, I can say that also, and I can say otherwise also.
Okay.
Now, I've seen like a tourist-friendly tigress. I'll say the opposite now. A tourist-friendly tigress, she was so friendly with the tourist that Initially, when she was born, she was shy, and later she became a very tourist friendly, the most sought after tigress. I'm talking about Sharmili in Corbett, right? People used to adore her, and people used to cancel Dikala and go to Bijrani zone to see this tigress. She had 5 cubs where the mother would walk kilometers on road along with the cubs. Every time the mother walks, the 4 cubs used to be along, and people would get 5 in a frame and all. The mother was so tourist friendly, and every time she walked, she took the cubs along. It was her duty. And
Uh, can't hear you, sir. Can't hear her. Sit properly.
आपके ईयरफोन्स आइडेंटिफाई नहीं हो रहे हैं. दोनों ईयरफोन्स अंदर डाल के केस में डाल के फिर निकालना. पॉपअप हुआ. टॉप पे ब्लूटूथ देख लो एक बार आप.
okay, now
Okay.
now are you able to hear me?
Yeah.
Oh,
You got mute
तो
again.
भाई
sir.
फिर म्यूट हुआ है.
Sit properly.
okay. Is it okay now?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yes.
I'm really sorry. I don't know why the problem is coming. All right. So the thing is, like, when we are talking about this tigress, it doesn't depend on mother. I can show you some tigers whose mothers were so shy, and the cubs became the most boldest, the more, I would say, tourist friendly tigers. So it depends upon tiger to tiger. I think, madam, it depends on, I think, the individual personality. What kind of personality do these tigers carry? There are positive signs also, there are negative signs also. For example, in Corbett, say, like, Parwali was tourist friendly. Now Parwali's daughters are also tourist friendly, but Parwali's 2 daughters are tourist friendly. 1 daughter is not. Like, for example, Pedwali is tourist friendly, Parwali is tourist friendly, but Gathero she was always shy. Right? So again, depends from tigers to tigers.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Jitu bhai, just
Pleasure.
to add on.
Yeah.
Ma'am, it's not just tigers. That's the question that I wanted to ask. Because, even lions, leopards, or any other wild animal that I have seen, they very rarely will look into you.
Correct.
Unless until you're too close, you're into that zone and they're like, up piche jao.
Right.
Otherwise, they kind
True,
of, I
true.
think, purposefully they avoid you.
This is,
Purposefully avoid.
I mean, seeing Maya was very bold. I mean, she would rightly look into your eye and Choti Tara, the many times that I've seen her, she would just, try to avoid looking into the camera.
True. Very true. Very true.
Yeah.
So we have got 55 tiger reserves overall in the country. I'll try to be a little fast. Why? Because it's 8 already. So we'll try to. Prema ma'am, how much time do we have? Can I take 10 minutes more?
Sir.
10 minutes more.
Please take time, no problem.
Okay.
People are there. Of course, some have dropped out, but doesn't matter. There are plenty of people.
मजा आ रहा है, continue करो.
It's amazing.
Thank you so much.
The insights are very educating.
Thank you so much.
Sir. Thank you.
Sure, sir. So there are many tiger reserves, but again, from photography perspective, Corbett offers you wonderful opportunity. I would say it's the mother of all parks. Pench has its own unique beauty, and when I'm talking about Pench, I'm talking about Pench, Maharashtra, one of the most beautiful unexplored parks. So if you want to be,
Yeah.
You've got muted again, sir.
Some issue with this.
अभी भी mute है आप.
is it okay now?
Yeah, it's okay
Okay.
now.
Okay, so I don't know what was.
But your screen share has gone.
No, I'm coming back. I'm coming back, ma'am. I'm just coming back. That's the reason why I'm always prepared for the unexpected.
No problem. It's okay. Yeah, these things happen.
जीतू भाई टाइम आ गया माइक ले लेने का. ईयरपॉड्स छोड़ दो आप.
No, I'm surprised. I'm little, I would say, nervous.
You again need to change.
You're able to see my screen?
Yes, and you're audible also. Yeah.
Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
सुनाई नहीं दे रहा आपको शायद.
Hello.
हाँ सर बताइए.
Yes.
Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Perfect.
Right?
Perfect.
Okay. So these are the various tiger reserves that are there, and now each of these tiger reserves offer you beautiful opportunities. So again, when I talk about Tadoba, I'm not talking about only the core part of it. Each tiger reserves has a different terrain. Now, for example, Tadoba has a dry deciduous forest. Corbett, to an extent, Pilibhit and Dudhwa. If you want to capture the tiger in the tall sal trees, 80 feet tall and all, beautiful pictures you can make. You want tiger crossing river, That is only possible in Corbett. You want mother and cubs. If you want to close up adorable moments of mother and cub, you must go to Tadoba. You want to capture a male tiger in its magnanimity, you must go to Pilibhit. Bandhavgarh, if you want to click tiger in ruins, Bandhavgarh. Want to click tigers in that on plateaus and all, then either you go to Panna or you go to Ranthambore. So every park has its own unique identity and unique landscape, which gives great opportunity to we as photographers. Now, this is what is I've made. So probably I think so like these kind of charts, I think Madam can share it with you. I'm ready to share it with Prema Madam, and Prema Madam can pass it on to you. Now, each landscape has its unique opportunity. Now, I want to click not only tigers, but I want tigers in habitat, which is a different perspective altogether. I go to Corbett. Now, again, Corbett, Kana are the two parks that gives you tiger in habitat. Nothing can come close to it. Portraits, Pilibhit and Tadoba. Mother and cubs, Pench and Tadoba. Central India is the best place, not even Kana. Central India, Tadoba and Pench are the best places wherein if you want to capture adorable moments of mother and cubs, then I think Tadoba. I'm not saying ये Corbett में मिलेगा ही नहीं, बांधवगढ़ में मिलेगा ही नहीं, but maximum chances are in Tadoba and Pench because there are many nursing mothers and a lot of opportunities for you to click pictures. Again, like natural history moments and all those things, you can capture it over there. Now, I've just again a quick visual journey of tiger in various habitats. Now, this is a tigress with cubs. If you can see the Dikala guest house there, and this is the famous Parvali and two cubs seen over here. And now, good news is these cubs are become bold. Now there are two sisters and one brother that are there, and the two sisters are very dominant. So looks like the future of Corbett is shining bright. Now this is where, so like I would say, whenever you're shooting, sometimes a smaller lens gives you a beautiful picture. Now, if I would have done a close-up shot of it, I would not have made this great picture. In fact, this picture is much more higher. I've just put it in crop because tiger bhi dikhna chahiye, because you can see Himalaya ranges and you can see the multiple ranges of Himalayas there. So this is a beautiful young sub-adult picture, and sometimes this is where you have to compose that image in your mind, especially when you're going to places like Corbett, where not only you shoot tigers but elephants. Carry a smaller lens, carry a 24mm, carry a 14-24mm wide angle lens. So wide angle lenses are the best for places where you can good habitat shots. Cut the cliche. Don't use for one time. Try to use at least one or two pictures. Try to click in a wide angle. Let tiger look like speck. Now I would not miss Praveen Mohanda's session for any reason. Why? Because that guy, he has shot an image which I've used in my coffee table book of Corbett, where the elephant, the tusker, looks like a speck in the entire frame. That's the beauty of that particular frame, and this can only happen when you use the smaller lenses. So I would urge, again, choice is yours. Now this is a shot that is bright daylight. Now this is where, so like again, this shot of this is from Pench. This kind of shots, B2 and cubs, is possible only when you have moments like these explode. This is again a habitat wherein this is the now current Parvali. When she was sub-adult, I shot this image. She's sitting on a grass bed. She was early morning golden light, and she's sitting on the grass bed. Cold winter morning, and you can see the fur, thick fur. The hairs are beautiful. The tiger coat is orangish red, and this is the beauty of the tiger wherein when you click it in winter. Again, Pench, tigers B1 having water at a Bandra lake. Again, male
Sir,
tiger.
Narayanan has raised a hand.
Yeah, Mr. Narayanan, I'm sorry, I'm totally engrossed in the presentation, so I did not say
No,
that.
don't worry, I will, yeah.
Yeah, please go ahead. Can you read the question for me, please?
Well, he says, once a corporate tiger sprang up on his jeep,
Wow.
and how did that get provoked to the extent of attacking, and how to avoid such instances?
Uh, Many times it is beyond your reach, to be very honest. Now, for example, you are in front and the tiger is walking towards you, and there is a trail of gypsies behind you. Many times it so happens that you want the gypsies to go back, but there are people with mobile phones who want to click a portrait or they want to click a selfie with the tiger. They tell the gypsy driver, if you move an inch, I'll not give you money. Poor drivers don't move their vehicles, and what you see is a jam, and the tiger has nowhere to go. Sometimes the tiger takes a shortcut. Tiger goes, but some tigers who see beyond a certain point of time, there is something called a tipping point, right?
Yes.
After that point, it's more like enough. I had enough, and
Mhm.
it's a breaking point, and then they say, "Come on, let me show you who's the boss." And unfortunately, people who are not at fault go through it, and this is what happens. So like many times, the tigers mock charge, the elephant charge. In corporate, so like why are we only talking about tigers? Elephants have charged. In fact, I know elephants have toppled some gypsies also. You know why that happened? Because like you went too close to the comfort. Especially elephant with calf needs space, and you trying to capture that great moment or trying to get too low to the getting that award winning shot. You took too much of liberties, and many times it's a nature's way of saying back off.
Mhm.
So it happens. It bounds to happen, ma'am.
And there's so much of screaming also by everybody.
Exactly.
It becomes a cacophony there.
Yeah, absolutely. And trust me, it's like it so happens that the tiger, when people see tiger, the adrenaline rush is so high. See, everyone gets
Mhm.
carried away. So
Yeah.
it's easier said than done, and especially
Mhm.
safari is being expensive. The demand for tiger sighting has increased. So there's too much of pressure on the driver and guides also. And so like
Yeah.
obviously in that heat of the moment, such kind of things are happen. Such likely
Yeah.
to happen.
Yeah.
So I
Thank
hope.
you, Professor. Yeah.
So
Thank you. He did say thank you.
thank you so much. Now this is again when tiger drinking water, the water droplets and all. So like the golden light is falling and all, and that gives it totally the different look. And cups sitting on the log, right? So disciplined and all. Again, this is also a habitat. So such kind of adorable moments is something that you should look for. Young male, his name was Yuvraj. T67 was his code name. He having a drink at his peak summertime at a nala, and uh, in between the rocks, I think that gave a beautiful look. If the rocks wouldn't have been there, this particular habitat wouldn't be so engrossing. So in the rocks, and again, yeah, the rocks were shining very bright because it was hot summer afternoon. So obviously selective darkening has been done, but so like this is more like a part of habitat in between the rocks. This is from Bandhavgarh. Is a roadblock done by a cub, right? Beautiful again. Why? Because it's a cub's way of showing that I own this jungle. So this is also part of habitat. Now, in composition, it's like time is running, so I'll just make it another 5 minutes. The light and shadows play a very important role. The early morning light, the golden lights, early morning, and the evening lights are so very important. Try to use that. And at the time, so like especially when you're clicking the lights and shadows, I would remember my words. I always shoot light and shadows in spot metering. So try to experiment, especially if you have got some good images already. Try to experiment at that time. At least use spot metering. It will give you a different effect altogether. Now each season has a different challenge. Winter has fog and low light. Summer has a harsh light. Monsoon has a slippery terrain, low visibility, and there is a greenish tint when you click pictures in monsoon. There is greenish tint that you will always get in your images. So you have to
learn how to use that. And when you are clicking in monsoon, you need to carry protective gears, cover your cameras and all. Summertime, as I said, spot metering on stripes, right? Patience always required. And I've got some images where different light conditions, different images, right? Understanding light composition in the camera settings and ethical photography. Now, this is again half of the tiger. If you see, exact half of the tiger is in lights, and the other half is in shadow. So it's more like the tiger is divided in two parts. One is the light, one is the shadow, and very easy. If I overexpose it, the tiger, the whites are burn out. If I underexpose the shadows become too much for me to open up, right? So it's how you strike a balance. It's very important. It's a golden hour stance. Again, a tiger from Pilibhit. Now there is no added light, no added flavor, like how no added flavors. It's a pure golden light that is falling. Evening 5:30, golden light was falling on the tiger, and golden light makes the picture stand out. Like you would have heard of William Blake's poem "Tiger, Tiger, Burning Bright." So it's the same look that you would get in golden light. Light and shadows. This is the cover of Pilibhit book that's coming up next week. So again, light and shadow effect. Light and shadows again of a tiger from Pilibhit. And deliberately, since I used spot metering, the light was not bad, and it was 7:30 a.m. golden light. I could have gone for f4, I could have gone for f5.6, but since I had a 2.8 mm length, I did not want the backdrop to take away the effect or be a distraction. So I deliberately clicked this image at f2.8. This image in good light condition has been clicked at 2.8. Did someone ask a question?
Sir, so like I submitted a image for the Oriental Dwarf King or not the Oriental, but the Paradise Flycatcher for the Corbett book, and it did not get selected due to some issues with the DPI. So is there any way to work around with the DPI in editing or post-processing so that it can be increased for suitable printing?
See, DPI, see again, now these days, again depends how the image would look after using that software. Now again, in Topaz there is again a software called as Gigapixel. In Topaz there is software called as Gigapixel, which will make a smaller image into 2x or sometimes 4x depending on the quality of image. So then your DPI would automatically get increased, but sometimes it pixelates. So I cannot say which image will look what till we see the image. So, but yes, there are opportunities wherein you can use Gigapixel from Topaz to improve your images, especially smaller images, to make it print ready. You can give it a try, but no guarantee. But
Yeah.
it purely depends on how it would look after the print has been taken.
Thank you, sir.
Pleasure. Now, this is again, this is a picture from Tadoba. The tiger was sitting in a total shadow, and if you can see where the tiger is sitting, there was total shadow, and behind the tiger, it was more like the light was falling, and the light was too harsh, and it was summer afternoon, and the tiger was huffing and puffing, sitting in the water hole. And this editing took a lot of time, because honestly, if I show you the rods, you might hate me for clicking this kind of image. But again, never miss out on the opportunity. Deliberately I showed this image. Why? Because many times, even in the worst condition, you can make something out of the bad image, bad condition. So please understand, especially in tiger photography, it is not like a model shoot wherein we can tell the model, come on, pose like this, or sit here, sit with light. And I always feel that like clicking a tiger is the most difficult subject, because it's beyond your control. So many times you have to manage it within post-processing. And this is the reason why I always say, especially when there are a lot of lights and shadows, go to spot metering. This was clicked in spot metering. Now this particular image made me famous. This got published in by WWF and Save the Tiger Foundation. It got more than 1 million likes. This picture was shot late evening in the sense the park closes at 6 o'clock. I was the last person to leave, and I clicked this and one more image, and then I left. I was late by a minute. I had to pay more than 2,000 rupees of penalty, but it was worth it because this image made me famous. While everyone left, I held my ground. I said, let me wait for the patience paid off. And this image, though at that time there were 15 vehicles, I was the last one to leave. I made this image because the tigers were sitting, and the cubs were afraid to come out because vehicles were there. Once all the vehicles started leaving, the cubs, with every vehicle passing by, the cubs gained confidence. And once the cub came out, this image, I named it as Three Musketeers. And these, those of you who are accustomed to Tadoba, this front guy, the young cub who was walking, who's now walking boldly in front, see just how Harsh ma'am also asked me a question. Now, this tiger turned out to be the one of the finest male tigers of Tadoba later. His name is Mowgli. Those of you who are regular to Tadoba would know his name is Mowgli. He became a famous tiger at. So how characteristic of from among the three cubs, he was the first and the more bolder one to come out, and how this character made him into a young and a fine male who went on to rule at least for a period of time, a part of Tadoba. Mowgli.
Kuwani's cub.
Yeah, correct, very true. Kuwani's cub.
Yes.
And this image, madam, is by the way, 2016 December.
Oh
2016
wow!
December.
It's a brilliant image.
And it is 5:55 December 5th.
Oh.
December 5th, winter. 5:55 p.m. 6 o'clock the gate closed, and at 5:55 I was clicking this tiger.
Must be around 1.5 months.
Absolutely, ma'am. Never ever captured such young tigers.
Amazing.
And this is where again leading lines and early morning mist and the blue mist and the young male sitting, grassland male. And this is a image that is close to my heart, because this was in a trip of 7 days, total trip of 7 days in Corbett. This was the only good quality image that I could make. Again, the attitude of the male, both ears opened up, showing that aura, the big beard, and behind that Ramganga rivers flooding that pathway. All this makes the image beautiful, stand out. Image at least close to my heart. Winter morning mist, poor light conditions. Do you see the mist and do you see the tiger behavior? When it was raining cats and dogs, mine was the only vehicle. My driver did not listen to me. I said, "Chalo, Irshad, rest karte hain." He said, "Kya kisne bola kya barish mein tiger nahi nikalta hai kya?" He forced me, took me out, and we waited there 10 minutes. This young sub-adult tigress came out, and I was so excited that I removed the top and started clicking tuck 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 tuck, and the tiger stood in between. It gave me a pose. After clicking for 5 minutes, when I turned my camera, I realized when I turned my camera, it was dripping, like it was more like water flowing through that. When I rushed back to the room, so like it, luckily I was carrying a driver. For the next half an hour, I was spending time cleaning every inch. I thought it is gone, but luckily it's the camera, because of the quality, remained intact. And I was very happy that I could not only capture the tiger, but the droplets. The rain droplets were also captured. So again, this is where you can make some wet moments into memorable moments. Now, this is the famous swimming pool of Parvali. Parvali and her cubs used to regularly in peak summer, they used to come out. And this was afternoon, 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock, hot summer afternoon. And you can understand, when the light falls on a hot summer afternoon, 3 o'clock, the water is shimmering. Now, can you imagine? This is a raw image I put up. You know what's the setting for it? I did not want the shimmering light to destroy my image. I clicked this image 5 stops underexposed. 5 stops. So my camera exposure compensation read -1.7. -1.7. Why? Because it was easy for me to recover the shadows, but I did not want the highlights to burn out. So that's the reason why I underexposed this image. I knew that's like I'll get a moment, and I clicked it. And after post processing, the image turned out to be this. This image turned out to be this. Can you believe it? So,
Yeah.
so this is where I always say, pre-visualize what image are you going to make. All right. So these are the various cameras and all, camera body, lenses, all those things. Now this is what I was talking about. While the tiger is walking, try to have a shutter speed of 1/500. Right? Don't have high shutter speed. Action running for a tiger, 1000 is good enough. 1000 is good enough. You can capture perfect freeze. Portrait, bean back ke upar le rahe ho to 1/250 be. Even for that matter, you saw that three cubs walking, late evening, 3 musketeers. Can you believe that it is 1/60 shutter speed? Because I didn't want to pump up. मैं बोला चलो खींचते हैं. 1/60 was shutter speed, but I ensured that my hand was steady. And so, like in low light, you can go as low as possible and go with the highest aperture. f2.8 or nothing like it. All right, guys. So these are the camera settings that. But don't go with high shutter speed if the tiger is just walking, because you'll unnecessarily pump up the ISO. Right? Try to keep your ISO intact. All right. So either you can shoot in winters or summers or monsoon. Now action shots. High shutter speed. Now I wanted to capture everything. 1000 is good enough. 1200 बहुत ज़्यादा है. Light condition अच्छी हो तो 1200 के ऊपर मत जाना. 1200 में you can get good things. Okay. So I thought this tiger is now growling and it will charge, but it charged. It banged its tail few times, but it did not charge. But it growled, and the growl was heavy. This is an action shot. The famous trio, cubs in action. Now one is paid wali, one is par wali, and one is gathiaro wali. All three famous sisters. And I'm very, very proud of this image. You know why? Because I got a fraction of a second to click this image. I was carrying a 500 mm, very heavy, and it was very difficult to fit them in frame. So very importantly, now there are a lot of images that makes you proud. Why? Because I'm proud of this image because it happened so fast that I had to pick up my camera and I had to fit them in my frame. I had to ensure that I capture the entire thing. The frame does not look blurred, and there are some images that might not get you an award. It got me awards also, but more importantly, self-satisfaction is the key there.
There was another image of yours where you had got only 2 tigers in the frame, a part of another 2. So
yeah,
maybe
I have almost a similar one more image also coming up.
Yeah.
This is where you have to be ready. Fight can happen anytime between especially sub-adults, so you have to be ready. This is again a favorite image of mine. I have sold many copies for charity. In fact, one more proud moment is this image is in the room of the Corbett director. It's an image from Corbett. So the Corbett director's cabin himself has this image. So I think for me that's an Oscar.
Yeah,
Superb image.
And the tiger literally charging, and you are at a low level angle, and if you can see, perfect shot. And I'm proud of this image. This was a cover page of one of the coffee table books of Corbett. Karthik sir, it was winter. The park closes at 5:30, and this image was made at 5:55 p.m. Park closed at 5:30. Everyone reached back Dikala at 5:30, and 5:55 I clicked this image on winter.
किस्मत वाले हो आप.
अरे सर, सुनने में अच्छा लगता है. 9 days I survived on bread and cheese. 9 days, and you won't believe the director told me till I get a good image, I'll not allow you to leave the park.
तो तभी मिला आपको.
हाँ, तभी मिला.
तो बटर का रिजल्ट
है. Absolutely, no doubts about it. This is
जीतू भाई, कोई हाथ उठाया है, सवाल है.
Yeah, please go ahead. Can someone read out for me?
Manual or aperture priority?
I clicked for a long time in aperture priority. It was my go-to. Now I feel aperture से अच्छा manual mode अच्छा है, because you can control both, and moreover, so like once you fix up your ISO, especially when I shoot tigers, na, I don't want surprises. I'm not worried about ISO kitna hai and all. ISO auto, and I just need to know okay, mera aperture kitna hai, mera wo kitna hai. So that's the reason why my today go-to setting is manual mode. But having said so, I know some of the top photographers who are much better than me are using aperture priority mode, each to themselves. There is no hard and fast rule that you must do manual only. And it's a wrong notion that like good photographers use manual mode. Absolutely ridiculous. I use manual, but I know a lot of top people who are 10 times better than me are using aperture priority mode, each to themselves. Yeah, please.
So I had actually experimented with manual mode and aperture priority, and I found that in aperture priority during action sequences, sometimes it gets a little tough to manage the shutter speed. That's why I prefer using manual with auto ISO. So are there any specific scenarios wherein aperture priority takes the edge over manual with auto ISO in terms of using it for a scenario?
Only sometimes I feel that's like machine being machines. Sometimes I felt the light was good. Why was ISO 3200? Sometimes it so happens that like machines are not perfect. And again, this is the time that many times I felt at 1200 ISO should have got me the same results, but why it went to 3200? It happened. And many a times it happened. So again, so like there is no reasoning for it, but I felt so like if you want better control, then do it yourself. As Napoleon himself says, if you want the best result, do it yourself. But then so like the $1 million question comes is, then why are we paying so much for the camera?
Jitu bhai, just to add on.
Yes, please.
So it is camera looks for gray, right?
Correct.
But in the field, you either have a black or a white.
True.
So because of which your ISO, you put it on auto ISO, it will either go this extreme or this extreme. When you have aperture priority and your muscle memory is very strong, and when you are looking at your in the viewfinder or in the screen, always have a look at what your shutter speed is. With changing light, when you look at your shutter speed and your setting, every time you exactly know whether to increase the ISO, if you have to increase how much, or if you have to decrease how much. If this is something, if you get used to, then I think technology will work better. But for that, like Jitu sir said, you also need to understand how your metering works, whether you are on spot metering, whether you are on metrics metering, etc., center weighted, बहुत सारी चीजें. So once you understand your equipment, अगर कैमरा आपका दोस्त बन जाता है, तो भाई आपको टेंशन लेने की जरूरत नहीं है. With the mirrorless system coming up, with these 2.8 lenses, you will get amazing images. But if you're not very sure about the equipment that you're using, then I think the go-to mode will be manual.
Perfect. I think so like Karthik is perfectly bang on. I think nobody would have kept it simpler but so meaningful. And this is where I would say so like your expertise, Karthik, is immense. And this is very, very right, as he rightly said. Explore one thing at a time, right? Meeting mode pehle samajh lo, then say like I think so like very rightly said, it looks for gray. And now I think the entire picture you'll understand only if you understand this particular simple logic, that how does the camera read, right? So again, one step at a time. And there are some people who do not want to get into so much of technicalities. So keep things simple. If you want to keep things simple, see, basics pata hai, wo important hai. See, very important part, I see people upgrading the cameras. I'm sorry, I'm not going to disrespect anyone. I see a lot of people who say, "Arey, ye naya model hai yaar, isko lena hai." You have not exploited your existing camera to a 20% extent. You don't know what features you are missing on, and you just want to buy a new camera. Why? Because it's new and supposedly it's going to be good. Now, I ask people, okay, tell me 3 reasons why you should upgrade. And when people have no answer, they want to upgrade from one model to another model because this is better, new, matlab better, which is absolutely, I think, absurd. Why? Because if you if you have not exploited your existing camera's full potential, then you have no right to upgrade to the next camera. That's as simple a rule that I follow.
आप ईगो हर्ट कर रहे हो, ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए. मैंने मुझे भी बताया था.
नहीं यार,
But that's the truth. That's a fact.
Guy, you won't believe. So like I use a 13 Pro Max, right? Now people might be using 70 Pro Max. See, for me, it's not about money. It's about more like, what am I going to use it for? If pictures, no. For that, I have my camera. Like, if somebody wants me to upgrade to 17 Pro just because it has a 48 megapixel that I'm not going to use, and I'm going to use it sparingly, I don't want to waste money. I would rather do 10 safaris extra in the jungle. Simple rule, boss. है ना?
True.
Thank you. And जो I currently had a D500 अभी just for other purposes as well as wildlife use Z6 लिया. So like D500, there were some features that were missing that added a bonus. Like Z6 had like pre-capture was not there in D500, especially when you're shooting like fast birds. That gives you an extra like for moving off the brand, because human reflexes obviously are not that attuned to capture those moments.
See, for me, I think I'll also ask Karthik Bhai to pitch in over there, because Karthik Bhai has used both Nikon and now is a Canon guy. And see, this is where it's like his expertise of immense importance. But so like, let me see, for me, it's like mirrorless. When I talk about mirrorless, for me, the more important feature is, I think, the eye detection. Now, people might say the dynamic range has improved and all other things. For me, it's like, I think it makes my job so easy, right? I don't have to worry. It will automatically catch my eye 9 out of 10 times. Like today, the cameras are so good that any ordinary picture that comes, it's a human fault, not the device fault. Now it makes things simple, easy for you. It does a donkey's job, at least 90% of the job. If you are not able to manage at 10%, or if I am not able to manage at 10%, so like I don't have a right to be a photographer. Getting it? So it's going to make your job easy. It's going to, I would say, act like your I would say best friend who's going to do the most difficult job for keep it for himself. Easier job for you.
True.
Thank you.
Please welcome. And I think so like these are some of the pictures, but more importantly, I think so like this is very important. I think every hour spent in the forest is an hour spent in learning what to see and how to see it. So very importantly, just follow that and stay connected with people, keep practicing and respect the wild. Simple suggestions. Stay connected with people who are, and always, and I'm not disrespecting you, people who want to go to the next level spends time with people who are better than them. So if you come across somebody who's better than you in clicking or in wildlife, take suggestions from them. Never feel shy, never hesitate, never feel low to ask. Don't keep egos and keep practicing. The more mistakes you do, the better photographer you will become. And always remember, respect the wild. And the law of good karma, if you take care of them, the nature will take care of you, right? So I'll leave the forum open for any questions that you might have. These are my contact details. Anyone wants to reach out to me for any queries, any questions, I'll always be open for it. Feel free to ask me any question that you might have.
Yeah, people can go ahead, unmute and ask questions if you have any.
Yeah, please.
Please go ahead.
Can I switch off my presentation if okay?
Oh, yes, you can, I guess. So you can come on screen.
I think
Well, I'm so happy.
Jitu bhai also with Nikon very closely, so he can give you good discounts. Kya Jitu bhai? Sahi bol.
See, Harsh is sitting there, and he's such a young, dynamic potential. In fact, I had the pleasure of meeting him. Extreme talent, and good part is he's one of those young guys who are ready to learn. He's more than all years for any suggestions and all. Harsh, so like always say like I'm quoting myself as an example for not to portray something good about me, but say like I started photography and I'm 52. So I would say I started my serious photography when I was 40. Just imagine you don't know what you are going to achieve when you are going to reach 30. You have started at such a young age, and I'm telling you, you will beat everyone hands down by the age you're 30. Only thing that you have to do is, again, Harsh, never be overconfident.
Yes, sir.
You understand one thing, you will do mistakes. Keep learning from it. I think
Yes.
failure is your best teacher. And today I've attended my session. Karthik Bhai is also there. Praveen Mohandas will come. And in fact, when Madam was talking about, Prema Madam was talking about all the kind of bigwigs who are going to be there, I think each one of them, so like even in the worst of the session, you will at least learn one technique that will make you a better photographer.
Yes.
Be open to that one learning. I'm telling you, big things will happen when you do little things right.
Yes, sir.
Right? Remember, big things happen when you do little things right. One right thing will make you a better photographer.
Yes.
And just imagine how many good things you will learn when you have such a plethora of superstars who are going to come at YPS events.
Yes, sir.
Be
So
open-minded.
to attend all the sessions. The thing is that my exams are going on.
Oh.
Anyway, I think we'll also put up these sessions on the YouTube. But then, there's nothing like attending a live session.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
What you learn during a live session, you don't learn when you see a recorded one, really.
Absolutely. No doubts about it. See, I always believe the hands and that feeling that you have, the learning that you get with the touch and feel when you can ask questions and your questions are answered straight away. Now that is something different, Harsh. And when you're going to the jungle, evening, especially whichever place you stay, there would be some guys. There would be one Karthik sir who would be there, one Jitender Govindani would be there, one Prema madam would be there, right? So there would be somebody who's there, who's going to guide you, who's going to handhold you. 5-10 minutes, show one picture and say, Uncle Salek, I just want your critical comments on it.
Yes.
How would you have shot this differently? What your settings would have been, right? Now, not everyone would praise it, and so like if someone is praising it, he's lying. Show him not your best picture, show him your worst picture, right? And today, out of the thousands and thousands of pictures I've clicked, I've also shown you many of pictures where I failed.
Yes, sir.
Because I just want to pass on a message, especially to young photographers, that photography is not about clicking error-free pictures. It's all that's like to err is human. The more mistakes you do, the better you will become. And I'm not going to stop learning. Today also today I call Mohan Thomas as Guruji. There are a lot of people. Amit Rane is my guru. Karthik sir, he was our mentor when we did a workshop at Kana. And I learned a lot of things from him. And I would not hesitate to pick up my phone and would say, Karthik sir, I have a problem. Can you help me with this? And I am literally like in this matter, I would not hesitate. I would not take it to my ego. I would pick up the phone, call, ask for help. Remember one thing, if you don't ask, you don't get.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Anytime.
Wonderful session, really. There's so much of learning. There's
Thank you
so
so
much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prema madam. Really appreciate. And Prema madam, one request. Please share the links of all the sessions that you're going to, whichever sessions possible. I would love to attend those sessions.
Yeah.
I would love to see some of the top guys coming and sharing their knowledge. It's a great platform.
I'll definitely pass it on to everybody. I think I'll share everybody's with everyone else. I was thinking it'll spam the girl there, but I think it's worth sharing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No doubts about it. It's such a wonderful thing.
Yeah. And thanks to Satish for having brought everybody aboard. Yeah.
It's an honor. Satish sir, million thanks for this.
Yeah.
Our pleasure actually to have you, such a wonderful person and such a knowledgeable person on tigers. We are really fortunate to have you today. Thank you so much for
Pleasure,
accepting.
pleasure, sir.
And very humble. The main thing is very humble.
no,
That's
yes.
something that I really
No, all wildlife photographers are like
Wonderful.
that.
I would agree to
Yeah,
that, sir.
yeah. I
would
think
agree to that.
wildlife makes you feel humble. That really does.
Madam, I have seen, so like many times we carry such wonderful gears, so expensive gears, and I've seen people with that point and shoot making an image which
Yeah.
you say, "Come on, man, how did you manage it?" So
Yeah.
the nature is a beautiful equalizer. It will bring you to the ground in one instance only.
Yes.
So I think stay grounded always.
I know.
One more thing, ma'am. I think there is, he's a very pure soul. I think any wildlife photographer, let him be a very good photographer, decent photographer, an amateur photographer. But if he has a pure soul, he will definitely succeed in wildlife. I think that's one of the best reason, because tiger will show up or not is not in our hand. It is, your intent and how purely that, you are dedicated yourself to nature.
True.
Tiger goes up only to them. I think when we did a workshop also, that was the case. A lot of
Absolutely.
people that I've met there were so, they're pure-hearted people. So
100% can't agree more. Very true.
See, to
Thank
put
you
it
so
in
much,
a
sir.
very put it in a very simple sentence, he is the tiger behind the camera.
Sir, I wish I was, sir, I had even 2% of the qualities of a tiger. And I think tiger is such a noble species. I think comparing tiger to a human is an insult to a tiger. I wish he could talk.
Usually I call them as gentlemen of the forest.
Absolutely. I think there's no better noble species than a tiger. I would any day, but as I said, I'm also pained to see the struggles that they go through. They have to save themselves from other tigers. They have to save themselves from human, right? We are the biggest enemy.
Most
So
dangerous.
that way, if you take anything in nature, right from little insects to everything, everything has so much to give and teach us. It's only that we don't open our eyes to it, and then you always feel you're bigger than all this.
True that.
And that's the problem.
True.
So,
Very true, ma'am. Thank you so much, madam.
Wonderful.
And it was
Thank
indeed a
you
pleasure.
so much. Thank you, Professor. It was wonderful.
Thank you so much, sir.
It's such a good start for
Thank you.
wildlife week. I'm sure it's going to be a big success for everybody.
I'm dead sure that you started with the most ordinary one, and the best ones are coming up.
Not at all. Everyone is going to be the top class.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm sure each session will be rocking. I'm going to be there. I request everyone else to also to be there during those sessions. Let's join together in the journey of learning and growing.
They can log on to the same link all the days.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
No. Satish, it's not the same link. So I'll be sharing the links.
Today and tomorrow.
Yeah, only for tomorrow, but I'll be sharing the links. Tomorrow it's the same link, so you can use that. But the other days it's different.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Ma'am, can you please tell the day and date of Mr. Praveen Mohandas session? I'll try to attend that.
So what I would rather you people do is just log on to our website, ypsbengaluru.com, and all the sessions have been put up there on the website. So you'll have all the information, including the time, and time is every day. It's always 5:30. Whichever session is on which day, you will be able to get that. So those who are not on our mailing or broadcast list, or even if you go to our YPS channel on WhatsApp, it will be put up every day. So now, today's session has been broadcast quite some time back, but tomorrow's will be broadcast now and then in the morning. So every day I'll be broadcasting it for that next session, because otherwise, people will get confused. So please, check our WhatsApp channel.
Right,
So
ma'am.
I'm sure everybody knows how to do that. And then if you can just, follow us on the channel, you'll be getting everything. In fact, any of our webinars can be attended by anyone. It's always open for all. And Google Meet doesn't have any restrictions. So no need of registration, no need of anything. You can simply join us.
Perfect.
Thank you so much. Thank you again, sir. So I request everybody to drop out of the session now. If
Thank you
can.
so much, ma'am.
Okay.
Once again, thank you, Satish sir, and
Okay,
thank you,
thanks a
Renu,
lot.
madam.
Let us
Really
keep in
appreciate
touch
it.
with each other.
Thank you so much, sir. Looking
Thank
forward
you.
to many more.
Sure, certainly.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jitu bhai.
Thank
Really,
you
really
so much, Karthik
appreciate
bhai. It was great interacting again.
it. Same here, same here.
Thank you, bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.